The boy whose body Lin Wuyan woke up and had 4 lines in the entire novel. Line 1, page 82. Good luck on your awakening, Senior Chun. Line 2, page 86. My core feels strange. I think something's wrong. Line 3, page 86. Screams. Line 4, page 87. Thus the boy from Dormitory 6 died, the first of 41 casualties that semester. Lin Wuyan had read the novel twice. He had even liked it. Iron Spires of Tianlong. 600 chapters. The kind of mecha cultivation harem that you finished at 4 in the morning and then immediately resented yourself for finishing. The protagonist, Chun Tianqi, had a hidden SSS rank mecha called Tianlong, the Heaven Dragon, and spent the first 100 chapters pretending to be an F-rank loser at the elite Tianlong Mecha Academy so his enemies wouldn't see him coming. Classic. The side character Lin Wuyan was now wearing had been the first body in the textbook example of unstable core collapse. He was a footnote to a footnote. He opened his eyes in the awakening hall. 3,000 seats. Black marble walls. A ceiling so high the lights at the top looked like cold stars. Down on the central platform, a kid he recognized as Chun Tianqi, broad-shouldered, easy posture, the practiced lazy smile of a protagonist who already knew the ending, finished his own awakening to a polite ripple of applause. The instructors filed his result as F rank, ordinary, unremarkable. Half of them were lying. 3 of them, by chapter 400, would be dead because of those lies. A bell rang. Dormitory 6, a proctor called Hu Sanwei. Stage. The body Lin Wuyan was wearing stood up automatically. The body's hands were shaking. The body's name, apparently, was Hu Sanwei, and Hu Sanwei was supposed to walk to the center of the platform, place his palm on the awakening crystal, and die. Lin Wuyan walked to the center of the platform. He placed his palm on the awakening crystal. He didn't die. The crystal screamed. Not metaphorically, it screamed, a thin glassy keen. The sound a sheet of ice makes the second before it breaks. The light inside it, normally clean white, went black. Not dark. Black, the way an absence is black. The proctors at the foot of the platform took a fast step back. The seated 3,000 students went very quiet. Lin Wuyan, in someone else's body, with someone else's terror trying to drown him from the inside, did the only useful thing he had in him. He reached into the black, because in the novel that was exactly what Hu Sanwei had failed to do. Something reached back. It was old. It was patient. It had been waiting a long time, in some way he didn't have a frame for. It looked at him, looked, with no eyes, and asked a single question without using words. The question was approximately yes. He said yes. The crystal cracked from top to bottom. Black light bled out of it in 2 long ribbons, wrapped his wrist twice, and sank into his skin. The platform shuddered. The proctors drew weapons. The black light went out. Lin Wuyan stood at the center of a cracked awakening crystal with his hand on a piece of broken glass, breathing slowly, very alive. On the back of his right hand a small mark had formed. It wasn't a rank ring. The rank rings were neat circles with the rank letter inside. F through SSS, plus the joke category EX for unclassifiable novelties, which had been awarded twice in Academy history, once to a cabbage-shaped mecha and once to a teapot. His mark was a hollow circle with nothing inside it. He looked at the proctors. The proctors looked at him. Rank? He asked, because Hu Sanwei would have asked, and he was Hu Sanwei now, and the version of him with a 140-page summary of every important event in the next 3 years was not going to give the proctors a single reason to mark him as anything other than a confused first year. The senior proctor cleared his throat. He looked at the unprecedented black mark. He looked at the dead crystal. He looked at the rank registry, where the only available category that did not require a value he could not in good conscience write down was EX, he said. Provisional. We'll reevaluate in spring. A polite ripple of laughter went through the hall. Teapot rank. Someone in the back row whistled a few notes of the old Academy joke song about the cabbage mecha. A senior with a phoenix mark on her collar turned around to glare at him, and the whistler shut up. Lin Wuyan bowed. He stepped down from the platform. He took the long walk back to the seat assigned to Hu Sanwei in row 41 and did not look at anyone. Inside his head, the thing that had reached back said its own name for the first time, very quietly, the way an old animal speaks to a younger one. Hundun, it said. Chaos. The formless. The one that was before there was anything to be. Hello, Lin Wuyan said back. I think we're going to get along. It rumbled, warm, satisfied, the sound of a sleeping thing turning over. Then it slept again. He sat down. 2 rows ahead, Chun Tianchi, the protagonist, turned around in his seat with the lazy half-smile he was famous for in the novel, scanned the platform, scanned Lin Wuyan's face, and did not look away for nearly 4 seconds. Lin Wuyan met his eyes, held the look, then dropped his gaze with the small, embarrassed shrug of an EX-rank nobody who had cracked a crystal by accident. Chun Tianchi turned back around. He had recognized something. Lin Wuyan didn't know exactly what yet, but he had felt the assessment land, the way a fighter feels another fighter look at his hands. One protagonist, he thought. One chaos. He closed his eyes for the rest of the ceremony. He had 3 years of high school to live through. He had read every word of them. He intended to rewrite most of it. Part 1, Tianlong Academy. Chapter 1, Dormitory 6. Hu Sanwei's dorm room was a 6-person bunk room on the 7th floor of Spire 3. His 5 roommates were Wang Erlang, large, loud, S-rank, bore-frame mecha. Friendly idiot. In the novel, he would die in Chapter 210, saving Chun Tianchi from a fall. Lin Wuyan was going to make sure he didn't. Pei Songshin, thin, quiet, B-rank Heron mecha, a sniper frame. Trustworthy. In the novel, he survived. Good. Mo Tianhua, tall, vain, a rank tiger mecha. Bully. In the novel, he became a mid-tier villain by year 2. Lin Wuyan was going to make a decision about him by the end of week 3. Chun Tianchi. Yes, the protagonist had been assigned to this dorm. Side characters and protagonists had to live somewhere. Bai Mengruei, slight, smiling, no awakened rank yet, special case. Late awakener, the academy was holding his slot. In the novel, he turned out to be a pillar spy and got 8 of the dorm killed in Chapter 403. Lin Wuyan was going to kill him first. He set his single bag, Hu Sanwei had owned almost nothing, on the bottom bunk Hu Sanwei had been assigned. He took inventory. 2 sets of black uniform with the Tianlong crest stitched in silver. 1 pair of training boots. 1 slim datapad with the academy's curriculum loaded. A clip of the small allowance the academy gave to scholarship students. Hu Sanwei had been a scholarship case from one of the provincial mid-cities, no family, parents dead in a wraith incursion 8 years ago. The body's grief was thin and very old. Lin Wuyan let it stay where it was. Wang Erlang slapped his back hard enough to rock him. Sanwei. Yex, teapot brother. Don't worry. The cabbage guy made it to graduation. Did he? He works in the cafeteria? He's very happy. That is, technically, graduation. Wang Erlang laughed loud enough to rattle the bunk above him. Pei Songshin, on the upper bunk by the window, said quietly, "You broke the crystal." It seemed broken already, Lin Wuyan said. I just helped it finish. Mo Tianhua, by the door, gave him a long, pretty stare. Yex cabbage. Stay out of my way. Sure. Bai Mengruei, the spy, sat on his bunk reading a book, looking exactly like a slight smiling boy with no awakened rank, smiling at Lin Wuyan with the polite warmth of someone who would casually arrange the deaths of the people around him in 3 years. 3 years. That was a lot of time. Lin Wuyan smiled back at him and let himself dislike him very quietly. Chun Tianchi walked in last, dropped his bag on the bunk above Lin Wuyan's, swung up onto it, and lay flat with his hands behind his head. He did not introduce himself. He had introduced himself once at the awakening, in the formal manner, and considered the matter handled. Lights out was at 11. In the dark, with the room asleep around him, Lin Wuyan opened his right hand and looked at the hollow circle on the back of it. It pulsed once. Soft. Hungry. Hundun, he thought. The chaos answered. Not in words. In a shape. The shape was a mecha. Not the way an SSS mecha was a mecha. Neat. Articulated. A clean weapon. This was a thing. 3 stories tall. Limbs that could be limbs, or could be something else. A core in its chest like a black sun with a white edge. No face. Or every face. He couldn't quite tell. The way it moved in the vision was not the way mecha moved. It moved the way something dreams of moving. Are you a mecha at all? He asked. I am what your kind needed me to be, the chaos answered. Yes, I am a mecha. I am also other things. We can talk about the other things later. For now, mecha. What's our rank? Yours. What does that mean? It means I am no rank. I will be whatever rank you make me. The system is small. We will be larger than it for a while. Then we will fit it for fun. Sleep, Lin Wuyan. He slept. Chapter 2, Iron Spire Run. First class was at 6 in the morning, on the obstacle field behind Spire 1, in the cold mist that came off the lake. 41st years stood in a line in black uniforms. The instructor was Master Yin, 50, scarred jaw, A-rank wolf frame in his civilian days, well known. He walked the line once. Run the spires, he said. 11 kilometers, 12 obstacles, the lake at the end. The lake counts. You finish in under 60 minutes. You eat with me at the senior table tonight. You finish over 90, you run it again tomorrow at 4. Go. Most cohorts would have hesitated. This one didn't. Tianlong took the top half of 1% of national applicants. 41st years moved as one. Chen Tianqi, F rank on paper, started slow. He was going to finish at exactly the time a clever F rank should finish. Fast for an F, suspicious for an S, in the bottom third of the cohort. Lin Wuyan ran beside him for the first kilometer. He let his pace match Chen's exactly. Not by accident. By design. He wanted Chen to notice. Chen noticed by the second kilometer. He did not turn his head. He said only, without breath, the way 2 runners speak when they are pretending not to speak. EX. Tianqi, you are running my pace. Coincidence. There are no coincidences in this academy. Run faster or slower. Pick one. Lin Wuyan slowed. He let Chen pull ahead by 3 meters and held that gap for the next 8 kilometers, through the rope nets and the spider walls and the long wet sand. He finished in 68 minutes, in the back third with the rest of the lower-end runners. Chen finished in 61. Master Yan's face did not move. By the lake, the first years were panting on their knees. Lin Wuyan walked into the water up to his thighs. The cold stripped the heat out of his legs. He breathed. Beside him, Bai Lingxue, third in the class on the running order, S-rank glacial maiden, waded into her hips and did not flinch. Her hair was the color of clean snow. She watched the far shore for several seconds before she turned her head a quarter-inch toward him. You held back. I'm an F-rank. You're EX. That's an F-rank in a funny hat. You ran a pace that should have killed Hu Sanwei. Hu Sanwei's records show he ran an 11-minute kilometer at his physical. You ran 6-minute kilometers for 11 kilometers and finished without vomiting. Either Hu Sanwei has been hiding his physical condition for 3 years of intake testing, or Hu Sanwei is not Hu Sanwei. Which is it? He looked at her. Pale blue eyes. The kind of cold focus that was, in the novel, the reason her S-rank mecha ranked above several SS mechas in the spring rankings. Bai Lingxue was not a girl who asked questions she did not already know the answer to. He decided how much to give her. He gave her exactly that much. I changed, he said. At the crystal. I'm not entirely the person Hu Sanwei was. I would prefer the academy not know that yet. I would also prefer you not write it on the morning bulletin. In exchange, when you eventually want a favor from someone the academy has not yet decided to be afraid of, you can have one. Deal. She considered him for the count of 3. Deal, she said. She turned. She waded out of the lake. He watched her go. The chaos under his skin gave a small, amused rumble. Already? She figured it out in 5 hours, he told it. Be impressed. I am. Chapter 3, The First Duel. It happened on the third afternoon. Mo Tianhua, the dorm bully, was a tiger frame A rank and the son of a minor northern clan that had bought its way into the academy 3 generations running. Tiger frame meant fast, midweight, prone to overextension. Mo Tianhua's pride had been bruised by Hu Sanwei breaking the awakening crystal and getting his name on the morning roster, and Mo Tianhua had spent 2 evenings in the dormitory commons drinking what he was not supposed to be drinking and saying what he was not supposed to be saying. By the third afternoon, he had decided to challenge the EX cabbage to a duel. Duels were legal at Tianlong under 3 conditions. Both parties consented. A faculty witness was present. Neither party died. Mo Tianhua delivered the formal challenge during lunch, in front of 200 people in the central cafeteria, with the broad, ugly smile of a young man who had not yet learned how he was going to die. Lin Wuyan looked at his bowl. He had 2 choices: refuse and be known as a coward for 3 years. Accept and reveal capability he wanted to hide. He chose a third. He stood up. He looked at Mo Tianhua across the cafeteria. He did not smile. Accepted, he said. Then, in a small calm voice that carried because the cafeteria had gone quiet to listen, on the condition that the duel is to first incapacitation, no mecha. Hands only. Standard cafeteria rules. No killing strikes. Witness Master Yen. A ripple went through the room. Hands-only duels at Tianlong were rare. The mecha was the point. Hands were a backup for emergencies. Refusing the mecha part of the duel was, technically, a polite way of insulting your opponent. I do not believe you need a mecha to lose to me. Mo Tianhua's broad smile twitched. Fine, he said. The cafeteria's eyes were on him. He could not back out of his own challenge. Yard behind Spire 3. Sundown. Sundown. Lin Wuyan sat back down. He finished his soup. At his right, Wang Erlang stared at him with the wide eyes of a boy who had decided he loved his dorm mates and now had to watch one die. Sanwei. He's an A-rank tiger. He weighs 90 kilos. You weigh 63. He'll break you. He won't. Sanwei. He'll break you. He won't, Erlang. Eat your dumplings. Erlang ate his dumplings. At Lin Wuyan's left, on a different table entirely, Bai Lingxue did not look at him once. She did, however, very quietly, leave her seat 10 minutes early and walk toward the medical wing on the route that passed through Spire 3's backyard. She was preparing for an outcome she had calculated. Lin Wuyan ate the rest of his soup. Sundown came at 6:41. 200 students filled the gallery around the backyard of Spire 3. Master Yin stood at the center in a black coat with his hands behind his back. Mo Tianhua stripped down to his undertunic, rolled his shoulders, cracked his knuckles, and grinned the grin of a young man whose A-rank tiger blood was good for hand fighting too. He was not entirely wrong. He had been trained in hand combat by clan masters since the age of 4. Lin Wuyan stripped down to his undertunic. His chest was not particularly impressive. Hu Sanwei had been a thin boy, and Lin Wuyan's old body had been a thin man, and the cross-section had not improved with transmigration. He stretched once. The hollow circle on the back of his right hand pulsed. Master Yin stepped back. Begin. Mo Tianhua came at him fast. The tiger frame inheritance gave him explosive close-range speed. He closed the 8 meters between them in 3 steps. Lead hand cocked back for a hammer fist that would have, if it landed, taken Lin Wuyan's left cheekbone off the front of his face. It did not land. Lin Wuyan slipped it on the outside. He stepped into Mo Tianhua's lead leg. He took the cocked arm at the wrist as it came past his ear. He pulled. He rotated. The shoulder dislocated with a wet pop that the gallery heard. Mo Tianhua screamed. Lin Wuyan did not let go of the wrist. He stepped through. He drove his knee up into the side of Mo Tianhua's jaw. Then again. Then a third time. Mo Tianhua's jaw broke on the second knee. The third knee was for the gallery. The duel had lasted for seconds. Mo Tianhua was on the ground, bleeding from his mouth. His shoulder hung wrong. His eyes had the small, unfocused look of a man whose brain had just been told to shut down for repairs. Lin Wuyan stood over him for one breath. He had a choice to make. The duel rules said no killing strikes. The gallery said no killing strikes. Master Yin said no killing strikes. He had already decided. He crouched. He spoke very quietly, in a voice only Mo Tianhua could hear. Mo Tianhua, listen. You're going to wake up tomorrow with a wired jaw and a shoulder that will not work the same again. You will be quiet to me for the next 3 years. You will be quiet to my dorm. If I hear you breathe in Wang Erling's direction, I will find you somewhere there are no witnesses, and I will finish what I started here. I am not a kind person. I am a polite one. Those are different things. Do you understand? Mo Tianhua, through a broken jaw, made the small wet sound that was the affirmative. Good. He straightened. He turned to Master Yin. He bowed. First incapacitation, sir. Master Yin looked at him for a long moment. Master Yin, in the novel, was one of the few faculty who had survived to the end. He was not a fool. He had watched the exchange with the precise eye of an instructor who had taught hand combat for 30 years. He had seen the slip, high tier, almost imperceptible. He had seen the wrist take, clean, the kind of clean that came from a tradition he did not recognize. He had seen the 3 knees, and he had seen, in particular, that the third knee had been deliberate, calibrated, not the panicked third knee of a frightened first year. Master Yin inclined his head. First incapacitation, he said. Granted. Medics. The medics came. They carried Mo Tianhua off. By Lin Wuyan, who had been standing in the gallery the entire time and not, in fact, in the medical wing, looked at Lin Wuyan once across the yard with her ice-pale eyes and inclined her head 1 degree. Lin Wuyan picked up his uniform. He walked off the yard. Behind him, the gallery was very quiet. The story that hit the dormitory feeds by 10 that night was that the EX cabbage had broken an A-rank tiger's jaw and shoulder with bare hands in under 5 seconds. The story that hit Master Yan's private channel to the faculty council by 11 was different. Master Yan's message read, recommend immediate quiet observation of Hu Sanwei, Dormitory 6. Hand combat tradition unknown to me. Tier well above first year. Possible candidate for the spring cohort selection. Do not approach yet. Watch. The faculty council, which had spent 40 years training itself to notice unusual first years, marked Hu Sanwei. Lin Wuyan, in his bunk, with the hollow circle on his right hand pulsing soft, said into the dark, Hundun. We are noticed. Yes, the chaos said. Good. Now we begin properly. Chapter 4, by Ling Xue visits. She came to the dorm on Friday evening, alone, after the dinner bell. Wang Erling opened the door, saw Bai Ling Xue at the threshold, and froze the way a large, friendly dog freezes when a cat walks into the room. Bai Ling Xue was, by the Academy's quiet consensus, one of the 4 most beautiful girls in the first year. She was also the one most likely to put you in the medical wing for asking. The combination made her presence at a boys' dorm door an event. Hu Sanwei, she said. Bunk 3, by the window, Wang Erling squeaked. Lin Wuyan was at the window, reading the datapad. He looked up. Walk with me, Bai Ling Xue said. He walked with her. They walked along the lake path. It was the kind of evening the academy had been designed for. Mist coming off the water, lamps along the path lighting one at a time in the dusk, the spires black against a deep purple sky. Tourists would have paid a year's wages for the view. The first years walked it twice a day and stopped noticing inside a week. Bai Ling Xue did not speak for the first 3 minutes. Then she said, Your duel. Yes. You broke him in the 3rd second. The first 3 knees were the killing window. They were. You chose not to. I chose to leave him alive on the precise condition I named to him afterward, which was that he stay quiet to my dorm. If he doesn't, The next conversation will be in private and will end the other way. By Lin Wuyan, walking beside him in the mist with her hands clasped behind her back, considered this for 10 paces. That is not a first-year answer. No, you will not tell me where you got it from. Not yet. Then we will talk about other things. She stopped. She turned. The mist behind her shaped her in a way the Academy's portrait painters would have killed for. There is a faction in this school called the Iron Pillars. They are not on the registry. They have been in the Academy for 40 years. They harvest cores. Specifically, cores from awakened first years whose ranks exceed S, whose mechas are unique, or whose pilots, for any reason, have come to faculty attention as unusual. They will, by the end of this month, have a file on you. By spring break, they will have an extraction plan. He looked at her. How do you know this? My older brother was a target. He was not a victim. He survived. He survived because he was warned. I am warning you because, she paused, because you let an A-rank live who deserved to die, and I have decided you are someone who can be talked to. That is sufficient reason. Do not make me regret it. I won't. Good. 3 things. 1. They prefer to take their targets in mecha, not in person, because mecha extraction is cleaner. They wait until a target is alone in the practice field at night, ambush in mecha, and harvest the core in the chaos. 2. Their internal recognition signal is a small silver pin shaped like a column, worn on the inside of the left collar. You will see at least 2 in the first-year cohort. 3. The Faculty Council is aware of them. The Faculty Council does not move because the Iron Pillars include 3 members of the Faculty Council. The one ally on the council is Master Yin. Master Yin. Yes. How do you know that? My brother and Master Yin trained in the same hand tradition. The tradition was unknown to me. Yours is also unknown to me. Yours and his are not the same. They are similar. Master Yin recognized yours after your duel. He sent me a message asking what I knew about you. I told him I did not yet know. He asked me to find out, politely, on a walk. Lin Wuyan smiled. It was small. It was the first real smile he had let on his face in this body. By Ling Wuyan, you came to me as Master Yan's messenger. I came as my own messenger. The walk was my idea. Master Yin agreed to it. The agreement is not the origin. Do not flatter yourself into believing I am a tool of his. Apologies. Withdrawn. Accepted. They walked on. He thought for 2 minutes. Then he said, in the same quiet voice he had used in his prologue conversation with the Chaos, 3 pillars on the Faculty Council. 2 in my own cohort. Probably 1 in my dorm. That last one I already know. He is named Bai Mengrui. Bai Lingxue stopped walking. Bai Mengrui is a pillar. Yes. How do you know? I will not tell you yet. You will tell me eventually. Eventually. Bai Mengrui has shared dormitory with my cousin for 2 years at the preparatory school. My cousin is fond of him. If you tell me he is a pillar and you cannot prove it, my cousin will be unhappy with me. He is a pillar. He will, on his own initiative, in 3 years' time, arrange the deaths of 8 people in this academy. 2 of them will be in our dorm. 1 of them will be Wang Erlang. She looked at him for a very long moment. You said in 3 years' time. I have access to information you do not have. What kind of access? The kind I will not name to you yet. Bai Lingxue, listen. I am asking for 2 things. First, your trust on the matter of Bai Mengrui, with no proof I can offer except my word. Second, your silence about it, for 1 month. By the end of the month I will have proof. The proof will be his own. He will, at some point in the next 4 weeks, take a small ordinary action that confirms what he is. I will catch it. I will show you. After the month, I will deal with him. I will do it in a way that does not put your cousin in harm's way. Your cousin will not be told that Bai Mengrui has been dealt with. Your cousin will be told that Bai Mengrui has transferred to a remote campus, which is the Academy's standard cover. The body, if it comes to that, will not be found. The Iron Pillars will assume he defected. They will spend 2 months hunting him. They will not find him. While they are hunting, they will not be hunting us. That is the plan. Will you give me the month? She was silent for the count of 10 paces. You intend to kill him? I do. You said earlier that you left Mo Tianhua alive because the alternative was excessive. Mo Tianhua is a fool with a temper. Bai Mengrui is an agent of an organization that will, given 2 years, kill 8 of my friends. The two are not the same. You are very certain about a boy you have known 3 days. I am very certain about what I know. Will you give me the month? She walked on without answering. He let her walk. He matched her pace. At the end of the lake path, where the lamps stopped and the path turned toward the dormitories, she stopped again. She turned to him. Her ice-pale eyes searched his face for the count of 3 breaths. A month, she said. If you cannot show me at the end of the month, I will go to Master Yin with everything I know about you. That is fair. Thank you. Don't thank me. Lin, Hu Sanwei, whatever your name is. You have my month. Use it well. I will. She walked away into the dark. He stood at the end of the path with the mist around his knees and the hollow circle on his hand pulsing soft. She heard you call yourself Lin, the Chaos said. She did. She will check the registries. She won't find a Lin who matches. The name I used was mine, not his. She will know that. She'll file it. She'll not raise it. She's already decided what to do with me, and what to do is to keep me close. Good, said the Chaos. Now Bai Mengrui. Bai Mengrui, Lin Wuyan agreed. He walked back to the dormitory. Chapter 5, Bai Mengrui's Mistake. Bai Mengrui made it on the 11th day of the month. He made it in a place he did not realize was being watched, by a boy he did not realize was watching him, in the small careful exchange a junior pillar conducted with his cell handler at the end of each week. The drop site was a hollow brick at the southwest corner of the Academy's old chapel, 200 meters off the main path. The drop was a folded slip of paper. The contents were the week's intelligence summary. Lin Wuyan was, by the 11th night, very familiar with the chapel. He had spent 6 evenings of the previous 10 on the chapel roof in the dark with the hood of his black uniform up and a small mirror angled at the southwest corner. The mirror had cost him 3 days of allowance. The patience had cost him sleep he could not afford to lose. He was, by his own private accounting, irritated with the iron pillars for being predictable enough that he had to spend his first month at Tianlong on a roof watching a brick. But predictable was the point. Predictable was killable. Bai Mengrui arrived at 10:43. He set the slip in the hollow brick. He left. Lin Wuyan dropped from the roof, retrieved the slip, read it by penlight, and placed an identical-looking forgery in its place. The forgery had been prepared an hour earlier from a draft he had spent 5 evenings building. The forgery contained, instead of Bai Mengrui's actual weekly summary, a summary slightly altered to suggest that Bai Mengrui had begun showing signs of disloyalty. The original he kept. He left the chapel by the back service tunnel he had mapped on the second night. He returned to the dorm by 12:31. He slept. For the next 9 evenings, he made the same swap. The forgeries each contained small, increasingly compromising suggestions of Bai Mengrui's disloyalty. Bai Mengrui never read them. The handler did. By the 9th swap, the handler had filed an internal review. On the 20th evening, the handler, a man Bai Mengrui had been instructed never to meet in person, appeared at the chapel in person. Lin Wuyan was on the roof. The handler was a middle-aged man in a faculty coat with the iron pillar's silver column on his collar. He was the head of the Academy's curriculum office. His name was Vice Master Wu. Bai Lingxue had named him on the lake path as one of the 3 faculty pillars. He stood in the chapel doorway and waited for Bai Mengrui. Bai Mengrui did not come, because Bai Mengrui's drop was scheduled for the following night. Vice Master Wu waited for an hour and left. Lin Wuyan dropped from the roof. He took the slip from the brick. The slip Vice Master Wu had left in it. He read it by penlight. It was an instruction to Bai Mengrui. Acceleration. Report to the chapel tomorrow at the same hour. Your loyalty has been called into question. You will undergo verification. Verification in the Iron Pillar's vocabulary meant a private psychic link probe. The probe was, on the recipient end, both painful and irreversible. If Bai Mengruwei passed, he would be confirmed loyal. If he failed, he would be made to confess his disloyalty and then quietly removed. In either case, Vice Master Wu would be at the chapel at 10:43 the following night, alone, with a portable probe device. Lin Wuyan smiled in the dark. He folded the slip. He put it in the hollow brick. He went back to the dormitory. The next day he attended classes. He passed by Mengruwei in the dormitory commons. He said good morning in the small polite voice of a quiet first year. Bai Mengruwei smiled the small polite smile of a slight kind boy whose week was going well. He had no idea what was about to happen to him. By dinner Lin Wuyan was at his bunk. He took out a small notebook. He wrote a short list. Vice Master Wu. Kill. Take collar pin. Take probe device. Bai Mengruwei. Interrogate first. Then kill. Dispose of body in lake bed where the dredgers won't reach until spring. Cover story. They are seen together leaving campus at 2300, headed for the southern station. They never reach the station. Iron pillars will assume defection together. He looked at the list. He held a candle to it. He watched it burn. He went out at 9:40. He was at the chapel by 10. The chapel at night was a stone shell. No lights. One door. A small alcove behind the altar where, in the novel, a priest from a religion this country no longer practiced had once stored ceremonial wine. Lin Wuyan had cleaned the alcove a week ago. It would fit one body comfortably or two with effort. He waited in the alcove with a piece of rope, a small carving knife, Wang Erlang's, borrowed back, a roll of cloth, and the hollow circle on the back of his right hand pulsing soft. Hundun, he thought. Quiet. Don't manifest. Be ready. Ready, the Chaos said. Vice Master Wu arrived at 10:43. He set the portable probe device on the altar. He waited. Bai Mengruwei arrived at 10:48. The interaction lasted 6 minutes. Vice Master Wu informed Bai Mengruwei that his loyalty was under review. Bai Mengruwei responded as pillar trainees were trained to respond, with calm acceptance and a willingness to submit to verification. Vice Master Wu attached the probe device to Bai Mengruwei's temple and activated it. Bai Mengruwei's eyes went white. He began to bleed from the corners. The probe ran for 90 seconds. Vice Master Wu watched the readouts on the device. The readouts showed Bai Mengruwei's true memories, the drops in the brick, the contents of the slips, the contents he believed he had submitted. The readouts also showed, at the end, the small revealing absence. Bai Mengruwei had not actually written the forgeries. The forgeries had not come from him. Vice Master Wu's expression shifted from cold concentration to a small precise alarm. He removed the probe. He looked at Bai Mengruwei. Someone is interfering with your drops, he said. Someone outside the cell? Someone in the academy, who has access to the chapel. Bai Mengruwei, dazed, did not answer. Vice Master Wu turned toward the chapel door. Lin Wuyan stepped out of the alcove. He took 6 steps to reach Vice Master Wu. He did not run. He walked. Vice Master Wu turned. Vice Master Wu raised a hand to project. Vice Master Wu was an awakened B rank in his own day, and B ranks could project a defensive force screen for short bursts, and Lin Wuyan let him. The screen blazed up. Vice Master Wu thought it would hold. Lin Wuyan reached into the screen with his right hand. The hollow circle on the back of his hand opened. The screen disappeared. Not collapsed. Disappeared. The chaos under Lin Wuyan's skin was, in this small, careful application, doing exactly what its old name suggested it could do. It was eating the form of the screen and putting the screen into the chaos. Vice Master Wu had time for half a breath. Lin Wuyan took him by the throat with his left hand and drove the carving knife in under his ribs with his right. He did not push the knife up. He turned it. Vice Master Wu died in 11 seconds. Lin Wuyan let him fall. He turned. Bai Mengruwei was on his knees on the chapel floor, weeping blood, half aware, the residual effects of the probe still in him. Lin Wuyan crouched in front of him. He took Bai Mengruwei's chin in his hand and turned the face up. Bai Mengruwei, he said, I have 90 seconds before another pillar checks the cell signal. I am going to use them now. You are going to tell me 3 things. 1. The full cell of pillars in our cohort, by name. 2. The location of the next harvest. 3. The name of the senior pillar who runs the Academy's spring cohort selection. If you tell me, I will end you cleanly. If you do not, I will spend the next 12 hours putting you in pieces small enough to fit in the rubbish chute behind the kitchen, and you will be conscious for most of them, because Hundun will hold you conscious for me. Do you understand? Bai Mengrui, through the haze of probe blood, looked up. He saw, in Lin Wuyan's eyes, that this was not a bluff. He gave the names. He gave the location. He gave the name. The senior pillar who ran the spring cohort selection was Madame Lu, the Academy's beloved deputy headmistress. Lin Wuyan had suspected. Now he had it. Thank you, Bai Mengrui. And, yes, he did. He used the knife. It took one motion. Bai Mengrui made no sound. He cleaned the knife on the inside of Vice Master Wu's coat. He took the silver column pin from Vice Master Wu's collar. He took the probe device. He took the slip from the hollow brick. He carried Bai Mengrui to the alcove. He returned for Vice Master Wu. He stacked them carefully. He closed the alcove behind a stone he had loosened the week before. He swept the chapel floor with a small rag he had brought for the purpose. He inspected it under penlight. Clean. He left the chapel by the back service tunnel. At the lake edge, on the southern shore where the dredgers would not reach until spring, he wrapped both bodies in the cloth he had brought, weighted them with 2 stones from the chapel's foundation pile, and sank them. The water closed over them with a small soft sound. The mist did not even ripple. He stood at the edge for a few seconds and watched. He felt, distantly, the small detached satisfaction of a man who had taken 2 threats off the field of the next 3 years. He did not feel guilty. He thought about it. He noted that he did not feel guilty. He filed the note. He went back to the dormitory. At 1:30 in the morning he washed in cold water, changed into a clean uniform, climbed into Hu Sanwei's bunk, and slept. In the morning, Bai Mengrui did not come to breakfast. By lunch, the dormitory floor matron filed a missing person report. By evening, the Academy security office had reviewed the camera footage of the southern gate, where, between 2300 and 2330, 2 figures in dark coats had been recorded leaving. Figures Lin Wuyan had created the previous week by paying a junior actor from the Academy's drama club to do a single specific walk, and a small cash favor to the security office's night clerk to lose the camera log for the chapel quadrant. By the following morning, the Academy concluded that Vice Master Wu and Bai Mengrui had both, on the same evening, abandoned their posts together. The conclusion did not make sense. The conclusion was the only one available. The case was filed defection, joint, motive unknown. The Iron Pillars filed a different case, internal review urgent. The Iron Pillars spent the next 2 months reviewing themselves. While they were reviewing, Lin Wuyan went to classes and continued to be an EX cabbage. Chapter 6, Wang Erlang Lives. The morning of the missing person report, Wang Erlang sat on the edge of his bunk and stared at the empty bunk where Bai Mengrui had slept the night before. His broad, cheerful face had gone small. He looked at Lin Wuyan with the soft, uncertain look of a boy who had decided he loved his dorm and now had to face it being 4 men instead of 5. He wouldn't just leave. People do, Lin Wuyan said. He liked it here. He liked us. Some people are not who they look like. Did you know something about him? Lin Wuyan looked at Wang Erlang for a long moment. He decided, on a quiet calibration, what to give him. I knew enough not to trust him. I did not have proof. I would have given you the proof if I had collected it. He decided to leave before I could. I will not lie to you about that, Erlang. If you want to grieve him as a friend, grieve him. If you want to wait until you know more, wait. I am not going to tell you what to feel. Wang Erlang nodded slowly. He sat for a while. He stood up. He hugged Lin Wuyan. He was a large boy. The hug was the kind of hug that bruised. Lin Wuyan took it. You're a strange one, Sanwei. I know. I trust you anyway. I don't know why. Thank you, Erling. He thought, with the small private fondness of a man who had been a side character's body for 34 days, that he was going to keep this boy alive. The novel could call this universe whatever it wanted to call it. Wang Erlang was going to graduate. Chapter 7, Bai Lingshue's Month. Bai Lingshue came to find him on the 28th day. She did not say I told you a month. She did not need to. He walked with her to the lake path. The mist was the same. The lamps were the same. She did not speak for the first 3 minutes. Then she said, Bai Mengrue has not returned. He won't. Defection. That is the Academy's conclusion. What is yours? Mine is that he had a conversation in a chapel that ended differently than he expected. She looked at him. She did not stop walking. You killed him. Yes. And Vice Master Wu. Yes. He was at the chapel. Bai Mengrue was at the chapel because Vice Master Wu had summoned him for a verification probe. The probe revealed that someone had been substituting his weekly drops with forgeries. The someone was me. Vice Master Wu realized this and turned for the door. I did not let him reach it. I interrogated Bai Mengrue before I ended him. I have the names of the rest of the pillar cell in our cohort. I have the next harvest location. I have the name of the senior pillar who runs the spring cohort selection. I have the column pin. I have the probe device. I have not, yet, decided what to do with most of these things. Bai Lingshue was very quiet for several seconds. You are 17. I am old enough to make the choice. You disposed of the bodies. Yes. Where? The southern shore of the lake. 2 stones from the chapel foundation. They will surface in spring when the dredgers come through. By spring, the cover story will be settled in the Academy's records. The bodies will be inconvenient. They will not be conclusive. You have planned this very carefully. I have. She walked in silence for 10 paces. Show me what you took. He led her off the path into the small grove of pines behind the lake. He gave her the column pin from his coat lining. He gave her the probe device wrapped in the inside of his uniform. He gave her the slip Vice Master Wu had left for Bai Mengrue. She read the slip in the lamplight. She turned the column pin in her fingers. She inspected the probe device. She put each of them back into his hand. You will keep all of these, she said. I will not. If they are found on me, my family will be approached, and I do not want that. You will keep them. You will use them when the moment requires it. Until then, I will hold what I know of you in my head and not in my coat. Lin Wuyan. Is that your name? He looked at her. Yes. Where is the original Lin Wuyan? There never was a Lin Wuyan in this world. Lin Wuyan is the name I had in another life. I died there. I woke up in Hu Sanwei. The name of the body is Hu Sanwei. The name of the person is Lin. You will not say it where anyone else can hear. I will not. Thank you. Lin Wuyan. The senior pillar who runs the spring cohort selection. Madame Lu. She did not move for the count of 5. The deputy headmistress is a pillar. She is. That is a difficult sentence for me. Madame Lu tutored my brother for a year. She was at his bonding ceremony. She held my younger sister's hand at the gate of the preparatory school when she enrolled. Yes. What do you intend to do about her? Nothing, this year. She is too far up. Killing her in year 1 would bring the full iron pillars onto the Academy with the wrath of a sect that has lost a senior. I am building. I will reach her in year 3. By then the rest will be cleared. Year 3. I am patient when the price of impatience is the death of my friends. She looked at him for a long time. Then she said, very quietly, the words coming out a half-second slower than she meant them, I will be in this with you. He did not answer immediately. He had not expected this. He had expected, at best, her continued silence. Lingshue. My brother survived because someone warned him. I am not the kind of person who can be warned and then walk away. I will be in this with you. You will tell me what you intend, in advance, where you can. I will help in the ways my mecha can help. I will not ask you to be kind. I am not asking for myself. I am asking for the 8 people you said would die in 3 years. They include my younger sister. She enrolled this autumn. She is in the 2nd year preparatory. She will, In your timeline, be one of the 8. I have not slept properly since you said the number. He looked at her in the lamplight. He nodded. You will be in this with me. We will work together. I will tell you what I intend. We will keep the count of the dead, on the pillar's side, as quiet as we can manage. We will keep our friends alive. Lin Wuyan. Thank you. Don't thank me. The next time you kill, I will be with you. You will not have to be. I will be. I do not want you to carry it alone. You are 17. I am 17. We will carry it together. That is the only way I can sleep. He nodded. They walked back down the lake path without speaking. At the dormitory turn she paused. She looked at him in the lamplight one more time. She did the thing he had not seen her do before. She smiled. It was a small, brief smile. The smile of a girl who had decided that the world was going to be very hard for a while and that she was glad not to be alone in it. Good night, Lin Wuyan. Good night, by Lin Wuyan. He walked to the dormitory. He thought, going up the stairs, that this was the first ally of his second life, and that he had not, in honest fact, anticipated wanting one. The chaos under his skin rumbled, very quietly. Good, it said. Part 2, Manifestation. Chapter 8, First Hanger. The first hanger class was on a Monday morning under a sky the color of slate. 41st years assembled on the apron outside Hangar 3, the cohorts assigned bay. Master Yin stood at the door. The door opened. 40 mechas waited inside. The mechas had not been here yesterday. They were here today because their pilots were here today. A mecha lived in the core inside the pilot until the pilot called it. Then it took form in real space, drawing matter from the Academy's gravity wells. The first manifestation was the most dangerous moment of a young pilot's life. The bond was set in the first 90 seconds. If the bond set badly, the mecha would never quite be yours. It would obey you, but with an edge, the way a falcon trained too late obeys. Walk to your core anchor, Master Yin said. Hand on the anchor. Breathe. Call your mecha by the name you found at awakening. Do not panic. If you panic, the manifestation will tear the hangar instead of the air. You have seen what that looks like in the videos. Don't be the next video. Go. 41st years walked into the hangar. Lin Wuyan was assigned anchor 23, third row from the back. He set his hand on the cold black post. The hollow circle on the back of his hand pulsed. Hundun. Yes. Small form. F-rank cabbage. Whatever you have to do. Be unimpressive. You are limiting me on the first day? I am limiting you on the first day. The deputy headmistress is watching the cohort manifest. She has a probe in the hangar's atmospheric sensors. If I light up like a heaven-burning chaos god in my first manifestation, she rolls me up by Wednesday. Small, polite, embarrassing, a long, slow rumble inside his ribs. As you say, once. The space above anchor 23 darkened. The darkness gathered into a shape. The shape became, slowly, a mecha approximately 3 meters tall. A small, ugly, lumpy frame in flat black, with 2 arms, 2 legs, a featureless oval head, and a small dim white core in its chest that flickered like a dying lamp. It looked, in honest fact, like a kindergarten drawing of a mecha. It hummed. It stood. It did not do anything else. Across the hangar there was a small ripple of laughter. The other 39 mechas were spectacular. A 9-meter tiger frame with golden eyes. A 6-meter heron with rotating sniper arms. A massive boar with green armor. By Ling Wuyan's 8-meter glacial maiden. A slim sculpted figure in pale blue ice plate. The sword on its back as tall as the figure itself. Chun Tianqi's mecha, even pretending to be F-rank, was an 8-meter humanoid in matte gray with a dragon mark on its left pauldron, a frame the casual I would call competent. The dragon mark was the Tianlong signature. Anyone trained to see it would know. Master Yin, at the door, looked at it for one long second and then looked away. Lin Wuyan's lumpy 3-meter cabbage stood at anchor 23 and hummed. Master Yin walked the hangar. He paused at 23. Hu Sanwei. Master Yin. This is your manifestation. Yes, Master Yan. What is its name? The chaos under Lin Wuyan's skin made a sound that was, in honest fact, very close to laughter. Bao. Lin Wuyan said pleasantly. Bao was the word for cabbage. Master Yan, I named it Bao. The hanger laughed. Properly this time. Even by Ling Xue, 3 rows over inside the elegant chest cavity of her glacial maiden, allowed her mouth to tilt by 0.5 millimeter, which was, by her standards, hysterics. Master Yin looked at the lumpy cabbage. He looked at Lin Wuyan. He did the smallest, slowest blink of his career. He had seen, in the prior week, what Lin Wuyan's hands could do without a mecha. He was looking, now, at a 3-meter lumpy cabbage. He was being asked, by the boy in front of him, to participate in a lie. He was deciding whether to participate. He decided. Bow, he said. Acceptable. Pilot mount. We begin basic ambulation drills in 10 minutes. He walked on. Lin Wuyan mounted. The cockpit of Bao was a small, dim, ugly cube with a single chair and a control surface that looked like it had been welded together by someone who hated cockpits. The chaos under his skin laughed in his head for nearly an hour. He drove the ambulation drills. He drove them slightly badly on purpose. He fell over once, in the 3rd drill, because Bao tripped. Bao didn't trip. The chaos tripped Bao for him, with the precise affection of an old companion playing a joke on a younger one. And the hanger laughed again. Lin Wuyan, in the cockpit, accepted the laughter. Hu Sanwei's body, in the chair, sat upright and patient. Lin Wuyan's mind, in Hu Sanwei's body, made small careful notes about every other mecha in the hangar and filed them by name. By the end of the hour, the cohort had decided Hu Sanwei was a sweet, harmless, slightly funny boy with the worst mecha in the year. The cohort relaxed around him. People who would have watched him otherwise stopped watching him. This was the point. Cabbage, the chaos said with affection. We are a cabbage. For now, Lin Wuyan agreed. Chapter 9, The Thunder Girl. Zhao Yuhuan introduced herself by hitting him. It was on the 4th afternoon of Mecha class, on the inter-cohort sparring grid, where Master Yin had paired the first years for low-impact bond-tuning sparring. Light contact, no damage, 3-minute rounds. Lin Wuyan's pairing was Zhao Yuhuan, 2nd row anchor 14, A-rank Legong's hammer, a 6-meter humanoid in copper and black, with a single massive warhammer on its back that crackled at the head with constant low-grade lightning. Zhao Yuhuan was the kind of tomboy the Academy produced once a generation. Short black hair, broad easy grin, freckles, a laugh that carried across a hanger. She was the protagonist's childhood friend in the novel. In the novel, she fell in love with Chun Tianqi in chapter 40 and spent 200 chapters not telling him. In the present, on the sparring grid, she was at full charge with the warhammer cocked back. Cabbage, she shouted, on the open channel that all the sparring pairs used. Don't take it personally. Bao took it on the shoulder. The shoulder caved. The lumpy frame staggered. Sparks. The hanger laughed. Bao, however, did not fall. Bao, in fact, stood, and the cabbage-cute frame absorbed the blow's recoil through a stance Zhao Yuhuan had not seen in a first year before. Feet shoulder-width, hips low, the precise route of a hand fighter who had been on his feet under harder hits than this. Zhao Yuhuan's grin widened. Oh, okay. Round 2. The hammer came around again. Bao stepped inside the swing. This was not, in any sense, the official sparring curriculum. The official sparring curriculum was block, footwork, breathe. Lin Wuyan, in Bao's cockpit, had 2 minutes left in the round and a tomboy thunder pilot who was going to be in his life for the next 3 years. He decided to spend 10 seconds making sure she respected him. Bao took Zhao Yuhuan's hammer arm in both Bao's small lumpy cabbage hands. Bao did not snap it. Bao pulled. Zhao Yuhuan's hammer staggered forward off balance. Bao slid one cabbage leg behind the hammer's leg. Bao swept. The hammer went down on its back. The hanger went silent. Bao stood with 1 foot lightly on the hammer's chest plate. The cabbage arm pointed politely at the hammer's head, the way a fencing instructor points at the throat of a beaten student. The round bell rang exactly then. Master Yan, at the edge of the grid, said calmly, "First incapacitation. Hu Sanwei." Match. Zhao Yuhuan, in her cockpit, sat very still for the count of 3. She opened her cockpit hatch. She climbed down. She walked across the grid to where Bao stood. She craned her neck up at Bao. She put her hands on her hips. "Okay," she shouted up. "Come out of there, cabbage. I want to look at you." Lin Wuyan opened Bao's hatch. He climbed down. He stood in front of her on the grid. He was, in his civilian body, the same height as her. She had freckles across her nose and a faint smell of ozone in her hair from her mecha's lightning core. She poked him in the chest with her finger. "You're not a cabbage. I am, in fact, a cabbage. Cabbages do not throw S-rank hammers. You are an A-rank hammer, Zhao Yuhuan. Don't promote yourself." She blinked. She laughed. It was a loud, honest laugh that turned half the hangar to look at her. "You looked up my rank. I looked up everyone's rank. I've been at this school 4 days, and I'm in a class with 39 people who are all going to try to kill me at some point. I look up ranks. It's prudent. You are weird, cabbage. Yes. You are also strong. I have an old hand tradition. The mecha follows the hand. It is not a thing the academy normally teaches in first year. I do not want to make a fuss about it. Don't tell." She looked at him with the small, bright interest of a girl who had just been given a piece of information she had not asked for. "You trust me with a secret already. I trust you to keep this one. You are loud. You are also loyal. The loudness will, in this case, work for me. If I tell you not to tell, you will not tell, because you are insulted that I trusted you. I have read you, Zhao Yuhuan. Don't be insulted that I read you. Be flattered. Most people don't bother." She stared at him. She burst out laughing again. She slung an arm around his shoulders. "Lunch, cabbage. You and me. I'll buy? You'll tell me where you learned to fight. We'll keep your damn secret. Master Yan, Sanwei and I are going to the canteen." Master Yan, at the door, watched them walk out. He did not, at that moment, file a second report to his private channel about Hu Sanwei. He did, however, write in his teacher's logbook, in the small, careful shorthand he used for promising students. Hu Sanwei, recommend Zhao Yuhuan pairing in the spring rotation. Pairing potential exceptional. Cohort cohesion useful. In the canteen, Zhao Yuhuan piled 2 trays high with the kind of food the academy did not normally serve before 12. 8 hers in 7 minutes. 8 half of his, and walked him through the entire roster of the first year by name with 1-line summaries of each. She had been at the preparatory school with 20 of them since she was 9. She knew everyone. She told him who was a snob, who was a sweetheart, who was secretly terrified, who was a pillar. She did not use the word. She said family aligned, the bad kind. He marked the names. She had identified 2 of the 3 names Bai Mengwei had given him. By the end of lunch, he had a friend, a deeper map of the cohort than he had had at breakfast, and a standing invitation to spar with Legong's hammer on Saturday mornings until you stop pretending to be a cabbage. He accepted. She walked him back to the hangar with her arm around his shoulders. In a third-floor classroom window across the courtyard, a girl with pale silver hair and a sword on her back watched them walk. She was 16 years old, in the senior year of the preparatory wing, top of her year, scheduled to enter the main academy in autumn. Her name was Yin Qingluo. Her mecha was a sealed SS rank phoenix called Bifong, and she would, in the autumn, be the first-ranked second year. She had, over the past week, heard the rumors about the EX cabbage from her younger sister Yin Qingyi, a first-year, Anchor 29 in the same hangar. She had decided to look at him with her own eyes when the opportunity arose. Now she was looking. She had not expected him to be small. She had not expected him to be plain. She had expected, given the rumors of the duel and the rumors of the chapel disappearance, something larger. She had not expected, in particular, the small, unforced ease with which Zhao Yuhuan slung her arm around his shoulders. Zhao Yuhuan did not, in honest fact, sling her arm around boy's shoulders. Zhao Yuan had spent the past 2 years aggressively rejecting boys who had attempted to court her, with the loud, merry good humor of a girl who had decided long ago that she was waiting for Chun Tianqi to notice her. Zhao Yuan had her arm around the cabbage. Yin Qingluo made a private note. She would, in the autumn, when she joined the main academy, find Hu Sanwei. She had a sister in his hangar. She had a reason. Chapter 10, Mei Xiaoxiao. Mei Xiaoxiao came to him on the 7th evening. She was the first year's only S-rank healer, a slim, cheerful girl with 2 long braids and a soft, round face. Anchor 31, Mecha Phoenix Tear, which was not actually a phoenix. It was a 6-meter humanoid with translucent wings that emitted regenerative light, a fact the Academy's lore office had been mildly irritated by for 2 years. Mei Xiaoxiao laughed easily. Mei Xiaoxiao cried easily. Mei Xiaoxiao had been Hu Sanwei's deskmate in the prep wing for 2 years and had, in honest fact, been the closest thing to a friend Hu Sanwei had had before the awakening. She came to him in the dormitory commons holding a small steel canister. "Sanwei, you haven't been sleeping." "I have." "You have, like, 3 hours each night. I can read it on your skin. Sit. Drink this. It's a sleep tonic. I made it. It won't knock you out. It'll make the 3 hours feel like 7. He looked at the canister. He looked at her. He took the canister. He drank it. It tasted like apricot and slightly like rain. He looked at her again. "This is good. Right? My grandmother's recipe. She was a healer too. She used to make it for me when I was small and was scared of thunder." "Sanwei, you used to be scared of thunder. Are you still?" He had not, in fact, been Hu Sanwei when Hu Sanwei was scared of thunder. He had been Daniel Reyes. No, wait, that was the other one. The other story, the other body. He kept doing this. He had to stop doing this. He had been somebody else. He had been Lin Wuyan. Lin Wuyan had been 25 at his death, a graduate student in classical literature at a university in a country with rain that smelled different. He had not been scared of thunder. He looked at Mei Xiaoxiao, and he said, honestly, not anymore. Something happened at the crystal, Xiaoxiao. I'm not entirely the boy you sat next to in prep. The boy you sat next to is still in here. I have his memories. I have his fondness for you. But the boy who came out of the crystal is something else as well. I don't want to lie to you about that. You are too kind to lie to." She looked at him for a long moment. Her eyes filled. She did not blink them clear. "Is Sanwei dead?" "No. He's here. He's just not the only one in here anymore. Will he come back?" "I don't know. I don't think you should hope for it. I think the kindest thing for you is to think of him as having changed. Not died. Changed. The way people change after their awakening. Mine was a bigger change than most. That's all." She thought about this for several seconds. She nodded, slowly. The tears did not fall. She wiped the corner of her eye with the back of her wrist. "Okay. I will think of you as Sanwei who has changed. Will you still be my friend?" "Yes, Xiao. Always." "Will you let me heal you when you get hurt?" "Xiao, I would prefer not to need it. But yes. If I do, good." She sat with him for an hour. She talked about nothing in particular. The canteen menu, the upcoming preparatory choir performance her younger cousin was in, the brand of needle she was trying for embroidery on her cockpit cushion. He listened. The chaos under his skin, who had been very quiet during this conversation, said only, at the end, "The small one is good. Keep her. She is the kind of person who lives through the hard years if she is held in the middle of the dorm." "Agreed," Lin Wuyan said. When Mei Xiaoxiao left at 9, she hugged him at the door of the commons. She was small enough that her forehead landed on his collarbone. She held the hug for 2 seconds longer than the situation strictly required. She did not say anything else. She left. He watched her go. He thought, with the small private clarity of a man who had been 25 and was now 17 and was not, in the strictest sense, entitled to think this kind of thought about a 16-year-old healer, that he was going to keep this one alive at any cost. He would, in due time, separate that protective resolve from anything else it might one day become. He was patient about these things. He went to bed. He slept the 7-hour sleep that her tonic had bought him, and in the morning he was sharper than he had been since the awakening. Chapter 11. The Spring Cohort Selection. The Spring Cohort Selection was, on paper, the Academy's most important first-year event, a closed tournament across the cohort that ranked all 41st years by mecha compatibility and assigned them to teams for the Inter-Academy exchange in the autumn. Off paper, the Spring Cohort Selection was the Iron Pillar's principal harvest event. The harvest worked like this. The Pillar's senior member on the faculty council, Madame Liu, the deputy headmistress, assigned the cohort's unusually ranked students to a specific bracket. In that bracket, the students would, in the late rounds, face Pillar-affiliated upperclassmen brought in as demonstration partners. The demonstration partners would, in the final exchange, simulate a mecha-on-mecha kill and quietly extract the target's core in the chaos of the simulated kill. The Academy would file the death as manifestation collapse, unfortunate. The Pillars would walk out with a new core. Over 40 years, they had walked out with 63. Lin Wuyan knew all of this because Bai Mengrue had told him before he died, and because the novel had told him before Bai Mengrue had told him. He did not, however, intend to be in that bracket. He intended, in fact, to drag Madame Liu into a room of her own with the column pin and the probe device and the bracket arrangement and a list of names, and to give her the choice between confessing her allegiance to the senior council and dying quietly in the same room. This was, however, Year 3's plan. In Year 1, he had a smaller plan. In Year 1, he intended to make sure no first year was harvested in the spring selection. He had, by his counting, 2 months to do this. He spent the 2 months on 3 projects. The first project was identifying every pillar in the cohort by name. Bai Mengrue had given him 3. Zhao Yuhuan had identified 2 of the 3 independently. He worked the remaining names by direct observation. Who left the dormitory at hours that did not match curriculum. Who failed to flinch at certain specific phrases. Master Yan's old hand tradition included a code phrase Pillars instinctively reacted to as if it were a verbal probe. Who carried small column pins on the inside of their collars. By the second week of the second month, he had 4 names. By the end of the second month, he had 5. He was confident the 5th was the full count. The second project was getting by Ling Xue, Zhao Yuhuan, and Mei Xiaoxiao briefed and aligned. He told each of them, in private, what the spring selection was actually for. He told them the names of the 5 pillars. He told them which upperclassmen would be brought in as demonstration partners. He gave each of them a small piece of work to do in the run-up. Bai Ling Xue agreed to take the bracket position next to the unusually ranked candidate the pillars were most likely to target, a girl named Tang Yueling, S-rank sniper, Mecha Chang'us Bao, who had drawn faculty attention in the late autumn for an impossible long-range exercise score and had been quietly marked. Zhao Yuhuan agreed to be the alternate in case Bai Ling Xue's bracket position shifted. Mei Xiaoxiao agreed to be on standby in the medical wing during the tournament with 3 other Phoenix pattern healers she trusted, in case the day required extraction grade, healing on multiple casualties. The third project was Tang Yueling herself. Tang Yueling did not, in the novel, survive the spring cohort selection. She died on page 276. Her death was filed as manifestation collapse. Lin Wuyan intended, this time, for her not to die. He went to find her on a Saturday afternoon in mid-March. She was, by reputation, the cohort's quietest student. She lived in the girls' dormitory on the 3rd floor of Spire 5, kept to herself, ate alone, sparred only when the curriculum required, and was widely believed to dislike everyone. She was not, in fact, disliking. She was simply tired. Her father had been a famous archer of the previous generation. Her mother had been one of the few SS-rank moon archers in the country's history. Her parents had raised her as a project. She had been sniping since the age of 6. She had no interest in fame, no interest in friends, and no interest, in particular, in the boy who walked up to her in the archery practice yard with his hands in his coat pockets on a cold Saturday afternoon. She did not look up from her bow. "Go away, Hu Sanwei. I'm not here for trouble. I'm here to warn you. 5 minutes. Then I leave." She looked up. She had eyes the color of dark moonlit water, and a face the Academy's first-year portrait class had spent the autumn term trying to draw and had given up on. She set her bow down on the bench. "Warn me about what?" "The spring cohort selection. You are going to be assigned to Bracket 4. In Bracket 4, you will be paired in the late rounds with an upperclassman named Sun Jitao, who will be brought in as a demonstration partner. Sun Jitao is a member of an organization called the Iron Pillars. He has been brought in to kill you in the simulated kill at the end of the bracket and to extract your core. The Academy will file the death as manifestation collapse. Your core will be removed from your body during the post-mortem by Madame Lu personally. Your mecha, Chaos Mecha, will be added to the Pillar's private mecha vault, where it will be kept dormant for between 5 and 40 years, and then bonded by force to a Pillar candidate of Madame Lu's choosing. You will not be the first this has happened to. You will be the 64th. I am here to tell you that this is the plan, and to ask you, if you are interested, to participate in a different plan that I have prepared. The different plan ends with you alive and with the 5 pillars in our cohort dead by the end of the tournament. Tang Yueling, will you listen?" Tang Yueling, in the archery yard, with her bow on the bench beside her, looked at him for a very long time. "What proof do you have of any of this?" He showed her the column pin. She stared at it. She had, in honest fact, seen one before. Her mother had warned her. Her mother had also warned her never to act on the warning, because her mother was afraid of the pillars. Her mother was reasonable to be afraid. Madame Lu had once eaten dinner at their house. "Where did you get this?" "From the body of Vice Master Wu. He is dead. He is in the lake. So is the junior pillar he came to verify, by Monroe. There are now 4 pillars in our cohort instead of 5. I will reduce that number to 0 by the end of the tournament, with or without you. With you, it is easier. Without you, you will be in Bracket 4 with no warning, and you will not survive. That is the choice. Will you listen?" She listened. He spent the next hour explaining the plan. The plan was, in its outline, by Lin Wuyan and Zhao Yuhuan would, in the days before the selection, plant small public misalignments in Tang Yueling's bracket assignment to give Madame Lu reason to shift her to Bracket 2, whereby Lin Wuyan would be waiting as her opponent. Tang Yueling and Bai Ling Shue would fight a real match in the late rounds, with Bai Ling Shue winning on points, taking the demonstration position herself. Bai Ling Shue's S-rank Glacial Maiden was, in honest fact, capable of surviving an upperclassman ambush in a way that Tang Yueling's sniper-frame Chaos Mecha was not. Lin Wuyan would not appear in any bracket as a serious threat. He would, as the cohort's known EX cabbage, walk Bao through the first 3 rounds and be knocked out of contention by his second pairing, drawing no pillar attention to himself. In the moment of the late round Bracket 2 ambush, when Sun Jitao manifested his mecha and engaged by Ling Shue with intent to kill, Lin Wuyan would, with Bao parked in the cohort's reserve bay, no one paid attention to the reserve bay. That was its function. Reach Bao through the Chaos Network and bring Bao to Bracket 2 at speed under the cover of Hundun's true form. Bao would not arrive as Bao. Bao would arrive as Hundun. Hundun would deal with Sun Jitao. Hundun would, in the same minute, deal with the other 3 remaining pillars in the cohort, who would by then be in their own bracket positions and visible on the field. The tournament audience would see 4 mecha collapse on the field simultaneously. The audience would think manifestation collapse, multiple, unfortunate. The Iron Pillar's Senior Council would not, because the Senior Council would receive, 12 hours later, a small package containing all 4 column pins and a single typewritten note. "Madame Lu, we are watching." Tang Yueling listened to all of this without speaking. At the end, she picked up her bow. She turned it in her hands. She set it down. Why are you doing this for me? We have not spoken before today. I am not doing it for you alone. I am doing it for me and the 4 I have already named, and for the 8 first years the pillars will, on their current schedule, take in the next 3 years. You are one of the 8. The plan would proceed without you. I am offering you the chance to be in it with us because Chang'us Bao is the only sniper frame in the cohort, and because the plan is, in honest fact, slightly safer with a sniper on the perimeter. You are useful. I am being honest about that. I am also offering it to you because he stopped. Because I am the only person in this cohort, possibly the only person in this academy, who knows that you are going to die in 2 months, and I am not capable of going on knowing it without telling you. I would be a worse person if I did. So I am telling you. Tang Yueling, will you be in the plan? She looked at him. She looked at him for a long time. She picked up the bow. She drew it. She loosed at a target 300 meters out and put the arrow through the center. Yes, she said. Chapter 12, The Spring Selection. The tournament took place over 3 days in mid-May, in the Academy's central arena under a bright, clean spring sky. Bleachers held the rest of the school. The faculty council sat in the high gallery in their formal coats. Madame Lu sat at the center in pale lilac. She smiled the gentle, gracious smile of a beloved deputy headmistress, and she did not, in honest fact, know that the column pin of Vice Master Wu had been removed from his body, and that the boy who had removed it was sitting in the reserve bay in a small lumpy cabbage mecha that she had cleared, by her own hand, into the unfit for late rounds category. The first 2 days went as Lin Wuyan had planned. Bai Lingxue carried Bracket 2. Tang Yueling was reassigned to Bracket 2 through 3 small public misalignments planted by Zhao Yuhuan, and a junior administrative aide Zhao Yuhuan had been seeing on the side for a month, a fact Lin Wuyan had not asked about, and Zhao Yuhuan had not volunteered. He had simply observed that the aide always found work that put him near Zhao Yuhuan, and had concluded that the misalignment paperwork would be in the right place by the morning of day 2. Bai Lingxue defeated Tang Yueling cleanly in their Bracket 2 semifinal. Tang Yueling's loss credible. Tang Yueling withdrew, ostensibly to recover, and was, on Mei Xiaoxiao's quiet escort, placed in the medical wing with the 3 Phoenix pattern healers Lin Wuyan had asked her to assemble. The 4 pillars of the cohort were in brackets 1, 2, 3, and 5. Each of them was scheduled to face an upperclassman demonstration partner in their respective late round. The 5th pillar in the cohort, the one Lin Wuyan was still uncertain about, turned out, on the morning of day 3, to be a girl named Hua Min, Anchor 17, a rank crane frame, which Lin Wuyan had not previously identified because Hua Min had been very disciplined about her column pin. She had not worn it. She had carried it in a small leather pouch in her interior left coat pocket. He had caught the bulge on the second to last day. He had filed the suspicion. He had not yet confirmed. He confirmed in the second hour of day 3. He confirmed because Hua Min, on her way to her own Bracket 5 match, paused at the reserve bay where Bao was parked, glanced at the cabbage, and made the small involuntary gesture a pillar made when passing another pillar, a small lift of 2 fingers at the level of the elbow, the cohort's internal recognition signal that Bai Mengrue had taught him under interrogation. She had used it on the cabbage. She had used it on the cabbage because she had been told that the EX rank in their cohort had been confirmed under quiet review as a pillar candidate, that the column pin in Vice Master Wu's coffin had been moved on the night of his death to a new operative, and that the new operative was the EX rank in their cohort. Hua Min had not been given the name. She had been given the rank. She was, in honest fact, a thorough professional, and she had decided to confirm the recognition signal when the chance arose. Lin Wuyan, in Bao's cockpit, watched her use the signal. He thought for half a second. Then he returned it, 2 fingers lifted at the elbow, smooth, the small distracted gesture of a pillar acknowledging another pillar in passing. Hua Min smiled, very slightly. She walked on to Bracket 5. In the reserve bay, Lin Wuyan closed his eyes for a long moment. Hundun, he said. Yes? There are 5. I will eat 5. Be quick. The ambush windows are in 2 hours. I will be quick. The ambush windows were, by the schedule, between the 3rd hour and the 5th hour of day 3. For matches were running simultaneously. The Pillar's upperclassmen would manifest into the late-round arenas at the appointed moment, engage the unusually ranked targets, and execute the simulated kill. Lin Wuyan had to be present at all 4. The 5th pillar, Hua Min, was in bracket 5, where the upperclassman was Sun Jitao's older brother Sun Zhilong, and where Hua Min's role was, in the original plan, to be the secondary kill, the cleanup for any first year who saw too much in the bracket 5 chaos. 5 mechas, for arenas, 90 seconds. He needed Bao to not be Bao. He had been preparing Hundun for 2 months. The chaos under his skin had been pacing the cage of the small cabbage form, patiently, with the calm, warm patience of a thing that had been before there was anything to be. It was ready. It had been ready since the 2nd week. He had been holding it back. He stopped holding it back. In the reserve bay, the small, lumpy 3-meter cabbage Bao trembled once. It did not grow. It did not transform. It opened. The black light Lin Wuyan had not let out since the chapel night came out of Bao the way water comes out of a flooded room. The reserve bay's 3 other mechas, all of them small and active cabbage class or training frames, were eaten by the light, not destroyed, absorbed, taken into the chaos to give the chaos mass, and Hundun, which had been waiting inside Bao the way a true face waits inside a mask, stepped out of Bao with a slow, deliberate breath. Hundun was 12 meters tall. Hundun had 4 arms, 2 legs, no face, and a black and white core in its chest where a heart would be. The matte black armor was not armor. It was the chaos in skin. The white core was an eye that had no shape. Where Bao had hummed, Hundun did not hum at all. The reserve bay went silent in a way that bays did not go silent. Hundun, very gently, raised its lower right arm. Lin Wuyan, in the cockpit at the center of its chest, opened the channel. Bracket 2, Bracket 1, Bracket 3, Bracket 5. In that order. 90 seconds. The chaos took the order. The chaos moved. The way Hundun moved was not the way Mecha moved. Mecha moved by stepping. Hundun moved by absence. The space between the reserve bay and Bracket 2, 300 meters of Academy corridor and wall, was not crossed. It was unexisted for the half-second Hundun was in it. The cameras of the Academy's surveillance system recorded Hundun in the reserve bay, then recorded Hundun in Bracket 2, with no recording of any transit in between. The cameras did not, in honest fact, register an error. They registered Hundun's 2 locations as adjacent in time. The chaos had told the cameras these are the facts. The cameras had agreed. In Bracket 2, by Lingshue's Glacial Maiden was 3 exchanges into a sparring round against the upperclassman Sun Jitao, who, in the 3rd exchange, dropped the sparring rule set and went for the kill strike, a hard committed lance thrust toward Glacial Maiden's central core in the chest. Hundun stepped between them. Sun Jitao's lance hit Hundun's lower left arm. The lance did not bounce off. The lance was absorbed into the lower left arm and was gone. Sun Jitao, in his cockpit, did not have time to be surprised. Hundun took Sun Jitao's mecha by the head with its upper right arm. Hundun crushed the head. The mecha, a 6-meter bear frame named Iron Bastion, the 2nd highest ranked mecha in the upperclassman class, went limp. Its core, exposed in the destruction of the cockpit, was extracted by Hundun's upper left arm and brought, in a single motion, into Hundun's own chest core. Hundun absorbed it. The white eye in Hundun's chest brightened by a single increment. In Sun Jitao's cockpit, in the half-second before the cockpit came apart, Sun Jitao had time to think one thing. Lin Wuyan, in Hundun's chest, did not give him a second thing to think. Sun Jitao died. The audience screamed. Hundun was already in Bracket 1. In Bracket 1, the pillar target was a first-year named Yi Tianbi, a rank crane, Anchor 26. The upperclassman demonstration partner was a pillar named Lin Wuyan. Lin Wuyan had committed to his kill strike 3 seconds ago, the moment the audience's screams from bracket 2 reached him on the open channel. He had committed because his pillar training had told him, at the sound of disruption in another bracket, to accelerate his own task. Lin Wuyan's kill strike was a clean axe stroke toward Yi Tianbi's crane's neck. Hundun's upper right arm caught the axe in mid-stroke. Hundun's lower right arm took Lin Wuyan's mecha by the spine. Hundun broke the spine. The mecha, an 8-meter wolf frame named Jaw of the North, an A rank, went limp. Hundun extracted the core. The white eye in Hundun's chest brightened by another increment. Lin Wuyan's pilot survival channel pinged green for 1 heartbeat, then red. Lin Wuyan had crushed the cockpit in the same motion he had broken the spine. He had been efficient about it. Hundun was in bracket 3. In bracket 3, the upperclassman demonstration partner had already executed his kill strike against the first-year target, a boy named Zhao Mingyue, an unranked late awakener whose mecha had manifested at S rank in the autumn. He was, in the novel, one of the year's most promising students. He was, in the present, dying. The kill strike had landed. Zhao Mingyue's mecha was collapsing. Zhao Mingyue was, in the cockpit, bleeding from his ears. Hundun was 3 seconds late. Lin Wuyan, in Hundun's chest, snarled. He had Hundun catch the upperclassman's mecha, a phoenix frame called Cinder Wing, a rank, by its left wing. He did not kill the pilot in the first motion. He tore the left wing off. He took the right wing in his other upper arm and tore that off too. He grounded the phoenix in the dirt of the arena. He pinned it. He opened the pilot channel. "You are alive," he said, in a small calm voice that the entire academy heard, because the academy's broadcast channel had locked on a Hundun's open frequency 3 seconds ago and would not unlock until Hundun ended. "You are alive because I want you to spend the next 20 minutes telling me what I want to know. You will not be alive at the end of the 20 minutes. The choice you have now is whether you tell me, in which case the 20 minutes will be quick and painless, or whether you do not tell me, in which case the 20 minutes will be very slow and I will not run out of ways to spend them." Madam Lu, the full pillar roster of the academy, the harvest locations, the vault. Now, the pilot, a 4th year named Rin Wuyan, 22 years old, ranked 7th of his year, talked. He talked for 11 minutes. Hundun stood over his grounded phoenix on the arena's red dirt for 11 minutes while Rin Wuyan talked. The audience, in the bleachers, sat in a silence that had passed beyond fear into a kind of stunned mass attention. The faculty council, in the high gallery, sat very still. Madame Lu, at the center of the gallery, did not move. Her smile had not changed. Her eyes had. Her eyes were the eyes of a senior conspirator who had, in 12 minutes, watched 2 of her field operatives die and was being given a public live confession from a third. When Rin Wuyan was done, Lin Wuyan said, "Thank you." He had Hundun close its lower right hand around the cockpit of the Phoenix. He did not crush slowly. He did not draw it out. The choice he had made about Rin Wuyan was not about pain. It was about information. The information was now collected. The killing was administrative. He crushed the cockpit. The pilot died. He extracted the core. He absorbed it. Hundun's eye brightened. He moved to bracket 5. Bracket 5 was a different problem. In bracket 5, the upperclassman Sun Zhilong, Sun Jitao's older brother, had heard, on the broadcast channel, his younger brother's death. He had heard the death in the half-second before his own kill strike had been due. He had not made the kill strike. He had instead opened his own pilot channel to Hua Min on a private band, sealed his cockpit in defensive mode, and run for the arena's exit at full speed. He had abandoned the harvest. He had decided, in honest fact, to live. Sun Zhilong was halfway out of bracket 5 when Hundun arrived. Hua Min, in her A-rank crane, was 3 steps behind Sun Zhilong in the same direction. She was running too. She had drawn her own conclusion in the same half-second. Hundun came down on Sun Zhilong from above. Hundun did not crush him from the air. Hundun cut him from the air. Hundun's upper left arm extended into a long, edged shape. The Chaos had been listening for 2 months to the way Lin Wuyan thought about the Kendo cut Master Cho had taught his other body in his other life, and the edged shape passed through Sun Zhilong's mecha at the line of its neck. The neck of the mecha came off cleanly. Sun Zhilong died inside the cockpit before the head hit the ground. Hua Min stopped running. She turned. She manifested her A-rank crane's wings in their full sniper rifle configuration. She fired 3 shots at Hundun's chest core in the span of 2 seconds. The shots were absorbed. Hundun walked to her. She fired again. 6 shots. Absorbed. Hundun was 3 meters away. She fired 1 more shot, point blank, into Hundun's core with the maximum overcharge of her sniper frame's capacitor. The shot would have killed an SS rank. Hundun absorbed it. Hua Min, in her cockpit, sat very still. Hundun raised its upper right hand. Lin Wuyan, in the chest, paused. He did not want to kill Hua Min in the same motion. He wanted information from her. He had decided, on the way over, that he would interrogate her the way he had interrogated Rin Suoi, on the open channel, in front of the Academy. The Academy was, at this point, his audience. The audience had to learn. He grounded her instead. He grounded her by taking her crane's legs at the knees. He pinned the crane in the dirt. He opened the channel. Hua Min, pillar traitor. I am not a pillar. The signal you used at the reserve bay was a deception. I returned it because I wanted to confirm you. You are confirmed. Now, Madam Lu, the pillar roster on the senior council. The names. The accounts. Now. She spat at the cockpit camera. Hua Min, I have done a man for 11 minutes in front of 3,000 people in the past half hour. He is dead. He talked. You will talk. The question is only whether you talk in the next 90 seconds or the next 23 minutes. I do not have the patience to wait for the 23 minutes. I will, however, make them count. Choose. She looked at the camera. She looked at Hundun. She broke. She gave the names. She gave the accounts. She gave the locations of the Academy's 3 vault sites. She gave, in particular, the address of Madame Lu's personal estate outside the city and the layout of its inner chambers, where, by her count, 11 cores were currently stored. Lin Wuyan, in Hundun's chest, listened. When she was done, he said, "Thank you, Hua Min." He crushed her cockpit. He extracted her core. He absorbed it. Hundun's white eye, in his chest, brightened a 4th time. The arena was very quiet. He stood on bracket 5's red dirt for several seconds. He turned. He looked, through Hundun's knot face, up at the high gallery. He looked at Madame Lu. He spoke on the open channel, in the same small calm voice he had used through the entire engagement. Madame Lu. Madame Lu did not move. I will not come for you today. I have a tournament to finish, and you have a council to face. The faculty council will, in the next 4 hours, review the broadcast footage. They will ask you, in your office, whether the names mentioned in the 4 interrogations are accurate. You will not be able to lie. They will, at minimum, suspend you. They will most likely remove you. They will not, however, kill you, because the council does not kill its own. The council does not, however, protect its own when the council has decided. The iron pillars, when they hear that you have been suspended, will reach you privately within 48 hours. They will, on their own internal logic, end you, because they will assume you are the leak. You will know this when it happens. You will, in your last conscious minute, know that I have not lifted my hand against you. The hand will be theirs. A long silence. You are 17 years old. I am old enough to make the choice. Goodbye, Madame Lu. He had Hundun bow once, very slightly, to the gallery. He had Hundun walk back to the reserve bay. Where Hundun walked through, the arena's broadcast cameras recorded nothing for the half second he was in the space. The audience watched Hundun in bracket 5, then Hundun in the reserve bay, with no transit between. The chaos closed itself inside Bao. Bao sat in the reserve bay, lumpy and small and dim. Lin Wuyan climbed down from its cockpit. His uniform was unwrinkled. His hands were steady. The hollow circle on the back of his right hand had not changed. He walked out of the reserve bay. He walked across the courtyard. He went to the medical wing, where Tang Yueling and the 3 Phoenix pattern healers were waiting with Mei Xiaoxiao. Bai Lingxue was already there. Zhao Yuhuan came in 3 minutes after him, breathless, ozone in her hair. He sat down on a bench. Mei Xiaoxiao crouched in front of him and took his pulse. Sanwei, Xiaoxiao. The academy is shouting outside. It will shout for a while. Then it will be quiet. We have done a useful thing today. Will you, in the next 2 hours, walk the medical wing's hallway with me, very visibly, and remind the academy that I am the EX Cabbage who has been here this morning the entire time, and who is, in honest fact, sitting in the medical wing on the routine post-bracket follow-up that all Cabbage rank pilots sit through after they wash out of the early rounds. Mei Xiaoxiao stared at him. She blinked. She nodded. Okay. Good. Bai Lingxue, by the door, watching him, smiled. It was the second time he had seen her smile. He was glad. Outside, the academy was still shouting. Inside, in the medical wing, for girls, Bai Lingxue, Zhao Yuhuan, Mei Xiaoxiao, Tang Yueling, sat in a small careful arc around a bench where the EX Cabbage of Bracket 6, who had washed out in the second round, was being given the perfunctory post-bracket physical. Mei Xiaoxiao spent 10 minutes on the routine check. The Phoenix pattern healers prepared the paperwork. The medical wing's chief, who had not been present for the morning, came in at the end of the second hour, signed the paperwork, glanced at Lin Wuyan, glanced at the bench, and walked out. The cover held. By evening, the Academy's faculty council was in emergency session. Madame Lu had been summoned. By midnight, she had been suspended. By dawn, she had not been seen since leaving her office at 2 in the morning. By the following evening, her body was found in a rented car at a wayside on the southern road, with the small, careful signs of an internal pillar execution. The Senior Iron Pillar Council, having reviewed the broadcast footage in the same 48 hours, had concluded that Madame Lu was the leak. The council had ended her. The council had not, by its own internal protocol, looked further into who had broadcast the footage in the first place, because the council was in damage control mode and did not, in honest fact, expect that the broadcaster was a first year. The Senior Iron Pillar Council made a small private decision. The decision was to suspend Academy harvests for 3 full years. The decision was, in honest fact, a defeat. The pillars had not suspended harvests in 4 decades. They suspended them. Lin Wuyan, on the morning after Madame Lu's body was found, walked to the lake with Bai Lingxue, Zhao Yuhuan, Mei Xiaoxiao, and Tang Yueling. He stood at the edge of the lake for a long moment. For cores, Bai Lingxue said beside him. For cores. Hundun used them. Hundun absorbed them. They are inside him. They will not be returned. The pilots are dead. I am not, in any meaningful sense, sorry. Are any of you? He looked at them. Zhao Yuhuan said no. Bai Lingxue said no. Tang Yueling said no. Mei Xiaoxiao did not answer for a moment. I am sorry it was necessary, Mei Xiaoxiao said finally. I am not sorry it was done. Sanwei, do not, please, do this often. The cost, it is not visible on you. I am the kind of person who sees costs that are not visible. Do not pay it more than you must. Promise me. I promise, Xiaoxiao. Good. They stood at the edge of the lake. The mist on the surface had not lifted. The morning was cold. He had 4 cores inside Hundun. He had the names of 17 senior pillars in his head, the locations of 3 vaults, the address of an estate with 11 cores in it that no one was now guarding. He had, in this moment, in honest fact, the makings of a private war. The chaos under his skin said, very quietly, the cabbage was always going to grow up. He went to breakfast. Part 3, The Bone Beneath the Cabbage. Chapter 13, The Protagonist Speaks. Chen Tianqi found him in the bathhouse on the 3rd night after the tournament. The dormitory bathhouse was a long stone room with 6 pools. At 11 at night, it was always empty. Lin Wuyan came in alone with a towel over his shoulder. He found Chun Tianqi already in the corner pool, head back against the rim, eyes closed. Sit, Chun Tianqi said. Don't pretend you didn't see me. Lin Wuyan sat across the pool from him. Steam between them. The hollow circle on Lin Wuyan's hand was hidden under the water. The dragon mark on Chun Tianqi's shoulder was not. The mark was the size of a palm, 3 intricate concentric coils, the Tianlong signature. Chun Tianqi was, in honest fact, not bothering to hide it from him. You are not a first year, Chun Tianqi said. I am exactly a first year. You are not a first year in the way the academy means it. You are something else. The cabbage was a lie. The 4 kills in the bracket day were not a lie. The chaos you piloted is, on the academy's old registries. I checked. Older than the academy. It is the unranked thing the founder's notes describe as the thing we will not name and will not allow. You found it. You bonded with it. You were sitting across from me in a bathhouse at 11 at night with no awakened pretense between us. I am asking, friend to friend, with no malice, what are you? What are you? I am the protagonist of a story you may have read. A long silence. You know I have read it. I suspected on the day of the awakening. I confirmed in the second week of class. You looked at me 3 times the way someone looks at a face he has already met. You corrected your reaction the first 2 times. The 3rd time you let it stay. I let you let it. We have been polite about this for 3 months. I am not interested in being polite about it anymore. Are you a reader from outside this world or a reader from inside it? From outside. You transmigrated. Yes. Into Hu Sanwei. Yes. Hu Sanwei died in Chapter 4. Page 87, Line 1. You read my book. I read it twice. Chun Tianqi looked at him through the steam for a long time. He laughed. It was a quiet laugh, the laugh of a young man who had been carrying a piece of knowledge alone for a long time and had just discovered he was not alone. I am also a transmigrator. Lin Wuyan, in the water, did not move. You. Me. I came in at 13. I have been here 4 years. I have the protagonist's body. I have, on my back, the dragon mark you have read about. I am, on the inside, a 30-year-old novelist who died of an aneurysm at his keyboard in the middle of writing chapter 601. I woke up at the age of 13 on a train heading toward the preparatory school with the book's protagonist's name and the book's protagonist's mecha, and absolutely no idea what to do about it. I have spent 4 years pretending to be the boy I created. I am, in honest fact, tired. Lin Wuyan stared at him. You wrote the book. I wrote the book. You wrote the chapter where I died. I wrote 41 casualties that semester. You were number 1. I am sorry. A long silence. The steam between them was very white. So you knew about the iron pillars. I created them. You knew about Madame Lu. I created her. You knew Hu Sanwei was going to die. I knew. I would have warned him if I had known him as a boy and not as a line of prose. He arrived in the academy with his line already written. He died on the page when I wrote it. He died on the platform when the line came due. I am not asking forgiveness. I am not entitled to it. I am asking, what do you intend to do, now that we are both here, and now that the book I wrote is not the book that is going to happen anymore? Lin Wuyan thought. He thought for a long time. He said, finally, I intend to kill every iron pillar in this country. I intend, in particular, to kill the 17 senior pillars whose names I now have. I intend to dismantle the harvest infrastructure. I intend to graduate from this academy in 3 years with most of my friends alive, including Wang Erlang and Mei Xiaoxiao, both of whom you killed in the book. I do not, in honest fact, plan to be public about any of it. I will be the EX cabbage when I can. I will be Hundun when I have to. By the time I graduate, the world you wrote will be a world that does not exist. Are you with me, or against me, or beside me on a different road? Chun Tianqi looked at him through the steam. With you. Without conditions. Without conditions. With one request. Name it. Save Zhao Yuhuan. Whatever you have to do. She is your childhood friend in the book. She is. I have been pretending not to notice her noticing me for 4 years because I do not, in honest fact, love her. I love a woman I left behind in the world I came from. I cannot bring her with me. Zhao Yuan deserves better than being loved by half a man. I have been quietly trying, for 4 years, to put her in the path of someone who could love her properly. She is not. Until you look twice at anyone. She looks at you. She does not know she looks. She will. Treat her well. That is my request. I accept the request. I will not lie to her. I will tell her that I know. I will not push her. If she chooses me, I will be honest about what I am and what I am willing to be. If she does not choose me, I will be her friend. That is sufficient. A pause. One more thing. Yes. You will, in the next 3 years, meet women I wrote into the book. They were each, in the book, your protagonist's lovers. They were love interests on a roster. They are, in the present, people. They were always people. I wrote them as people. I was just bad at giving them their own time. By Ling Xue, Zhao Yuan, Mei Xiaoxiao, Tang Yueling, Lu Qingyi, who will arrive as an exchange student from the Imperial Academy in the autumn. Su Wanxin, who is in the library on the 4th floor every evening between 9 and 11 and whom you have not yet met. Wu Lian, who is in the security office for reasons I will not spoil. Yanqing Luo, who has been watching you. Haning Xue, who has not yet arrived and will arrive on a transport from the Western Desert Academy in the 2nd year. They are 9 girls. You will have noticed 5 already. The other 4 will come in their time. I am telling you this because you should know, in advance, what the original story did with them, so that you can avoid doing the same. None of them deserve to be on a roster. Each of them deserves to be a person. You will, I hope, do better than I did. Lin Wuyan stared at him. Are you giving me your harem? I am telling you the harem you have already begun. You did not begin it. They did. They began it by noticing you. I am only telling you their names. What you do with their attention is yours. Chen Tianqi. That is, generous in a way I am not sure is honest. It is honest. I am tired, Lin. I have written 4 years of a book I wrote in another life. I want to live the 4 remaining years as a person. Zhao Yuan looks at you. The others will. I will be your friend. I will fight beside you against the pillars. I will, in time, meet someone new who is not my old life's woman, and I will love her properly. Until then, I am free of the harem I once arranged for my protagonist. The protagonist is free. The girls are free. You are free. Be careful with them. That is all. Thank you. Do not thank me. You have not done anything yet. Go to bed. Lin Wuyan went to bed. In the dark, in his bunk, with the dragon mark on the back of Chun Tianqi above him in the bunk above, he laughed once, very quietly, the laugh of a man whose universe had just been handed to him with the warranty card on top, and slept. Chapter 14, Su Wanxin. The library on the 4th floor was a long, dim room with high windows and tall shelves, and one small reading desk under the window at the far end. The girl at the desk had been there every evening between 9 and 11 for the past 3 months. She wore a thick wool cardigan over her uniform, glasses she actually needed, and a soft brown braid down her back. She read with one hand under her chin and the other tracing the line on the page. Lin Wuyan came to the desk on a Wednesday at 9:15. He set a small cup of warm honey tea on the corner of the desk. Su Wanxin looked up. She had eyes the color of weak tea and a face the Academy's first-year intake committee had, 2 years running, listed as quiet. Quiet was the wrong word. Quiet was a small word for what she was. The right word was watching. She looked at the tea. She looked at him. Hu Sanwei. Su Wanxin. Tea. From the canteen. The kind with 3 sugars. Mei Xiaoxiao said it was your usual after 9. I did not ask whether you wanted company. I wanted to give you the tea. If you would prefer me to leave you to your reading, I will. If you would prefer me to sit, I will sit. If you would prefer something else, name it. She watched him for the count of 4 breaths. Sit. He sat. He did not look at her book. He did not ask what she was reading. He pulled a thin volume from his coat, a translated edition of the Academy's oldest founder's diary, which he had borrowed from the lower stacks an hour ago, and opened it. He read in silence beside her. She read for 40 minutes. She closed her book at 5 to 10. She set it on the desk. She turned to him. "You did not ask what I was reading," she said. "You did not ask what I was reading." That is the correct answer. Most boys ask. Most boys ask because they want to start a conversation about the book. I do not want to start a conversation about books with someone I do not know. I want to read. If a person sits with me for 40 minutes without asking, they are a person I can read beside. There are 4 people in this academy I can read beside. You are the 5th. I am honored. Do not be. It is a small list because most people are bad at it. Hu Sanwei, may I ask you a question that is not about a book? Yes. On the tournament day, you killed 4 people. The broadcast was very clear. Yes. I would like to know if you have slept since. He thought about this for a moment. Badly the first night. Properly since. That is what I would expect. A pause. Do you disapprove? No. Do you approve? No. What then? I want to know what you are. I have read every book in this library on chaos class entities. The library has 41. I have read all of them. None of them describe a chaos that obeys a human pilot for 90 seconds and then closes itself inside a cabbage frame. The chaos in the books does not close. The chaos in the books does not obey. The chaos in the books does not, in particular, choose. Your chaos chose you. I would like to know why. Not because I want to write a paper. Because I want to know whether you are the chaos's master or its servant. The answer matters. The kind of person you are going to be in 3 years depends on it. He looked at her. He gave her, on a quiet calibration, more than he had given anyone else. We are something between, he said. Not master. Not servant. Companion. We met at the crystal. We chose each other. The chaos was, I think, lonely. I had just died in another world. I had no body and no language. We found each other in the half-second between Hu Sanwei's death and my arrival. We agreed to be one thing for a while. It will not last forever. It is not, in the book's sense, a bond. It is a friendship. We are mutually polite. Each of us could end the other tomorrow. Neither of us will. We have things we want to do together. She did not blink. What does the chaos want? To be something. Be what? It does not know yet. It is trying to find out. I am the body it is trying it through. In the meantime it does, on request, kill people. She was quiet for a long moment. That is honest in a way that is unusual. You asked an honest question. If I asked you to teach me to read chaos, would you? You cannot pilot it. Only I can. I do not want to pilot it. I want to read it. There is a difference. A scholar of chaos is rarer than a pilot of chaos. I think I would like to be the second scholar of chaos this academy has had, and the first one who knew the chaos in front of her. If you would teach me, I will teach you what I know. Thank you. Su Wanxin. May I ask you one in return? Yes. What is your mecha? She smiled. It was small. It was, in honest fact, the smallest smile he had been given since arriving in this body. He liked it. You may meet her tomorrow, she said. Bring the tea. He brought the tea. The mecha she introduced him to in the smaller eastern hangar the next afternoon was a quiet 4-meter humanoid in pale gray with an owl mask helmet and 2 long thin scrolls coiled at its hips. She called it Mingniao, the wise bird. The academy had rated it A rank in her awakening. The academy had not, on the records, noticed that Mingniao's scrolls were not, in honest fact, scrolls. They were the mecha's library. The mecha read. The mecha read in real time during combat, faster than human thought, and the scrolls on its hips were the access conduits to a private archive that Su Wanxin had been quietly building in the academy's data fabric for 2 years. Mingniao had, by Su Wanxin's quiet count, the full intelligence on every faculty member's combat history, every senior pilot's mecha specifications, every iron pillar she had ever passed in a corridor, and the full known archive of Chaos class entity research from every academy in the country. Lin Wuyan looked at Ming Niao for a long time. He said, "Your mecha is in a different rank system, ranked SSS. The Academy rated you A because the Academy does not rate scholars properly." She nodded. "Yes. Su Wanxin, will you be in this with me? I am already in it. I have been waiting for you to ask. Tea on Wednesdays, please. Tea on Wednesdays." She bowed slightly. He bowed back. The owl mask of Ming Niao tilted its head at him, very gently, in what he understood to be a greeting from a thing that read. The chaos under his skin said, "The scholar. I have wanted a scholar. She has wanted a chaos," Lin Wuyan said. "We are a good match." Chapter 15, Yen Qingluo Descends. Yen Qingluo did not wait for autumn. She joined the main academy on the 1st of August, a full month before the second-year term began, by exercising a privilege the academy granted to senior preparatory students who had won the previous summer's exhibition. Early enrollment, with summer access to all main campus facilities, in exchange for serving as a junior instructor for the first-year remedial drills. The remedial drills were, in honest fact, mostly attended by first-years who had not, as the Academy's polite phrase put it, manifested impressively. The remedial drill roster for the second week of August included Hu Sanwei, the EX cabbage who had washed out of the spring selection. Yen Qingluo had asked, very politely, to be assigned to the cabbage's drill. Master Yen, who was in charge of the assignment, had looked at her for a moment. Master Yen had said, "Yen Qingluo, he is not what you think he is." Yen Qingluo had said, "Master, I know exactly what I think he is, and the assignment is the assignment. Please." Master Yen, who had been a coach for 30 years and knew when to argue and when not to, had assigned her. She walked onto the drill yard on a Monday morning at 6 in a black instructor's coat, with a silver phoenix mark on the collar. The morning was hot. The yard was empty except for Lin Wuyan and a small lumpy cabbage mecha standing behind him. He bowed to her. She bowed back. She had pale silver hair, cut at the shoulder, eyes the color of black tea. She wore a slim sword at her hip, the Bifong Phoenix sword, the focus that channeled her SS rank mecha, and she carried herself the way a senior pilot at this academy carried herself, which was to say like a person who had not yet, in her life, lost a fight she had wanted to win. Hu Sanwei, remedial drill, Form 1, 10 repetitions, begin. Senior, begin. He began. Form 1 was the most basic ambulation drill in the curriculum. He ran it 10 times. He ran it correctly. He did not show off. He did not slack. He executed the drill the way Hu Sanwei the EX cabbage would have executed it on a hot Monday morning under a senior instructor, neither well nor badly. She watched. At the end she said, "Form 2, 10 repetitions." He ran Form 2, 10 repetitions. Correctly. Form 3, Form 3, Form 4, Form 4. By the end of an hour they had been through 12 forms. He had executed each correctly. He had not, at any point, shown her anything she could not have seen in a remedial drill on any other morning. He was tired. His shoulders were starting to ache. Hu Sanwei's body had not, in honest fact, trained at this level before Transmigration. He had been building it. That is what I assumed. Hu Sanwei, the iron pillars have suspended the harvest at this academy for 3 years. The senior council has, however, not forgotten what was done in the spring. They will, on a 3-year delay, retaliate. The retaliation will not come at the spring selection. It will come earlier. On a tournament cycle, they can plausibly insert into their own calendar without alerting the faculty council. The earliest such cycle is the Inter-Academy exchange this autumn. The exchange will bring 340 students from the Imperial Academy and the Western Desert Academy onto our grounds for the autumn cohort tournament. Among those 340 students will be, by my estimate, between 12 and 20 iron pillars from outside our school. They will not, on the senior council's plan, attempt a harvest. They will, on the senior council's plan, attempt to identify the operative who broadcast the spring footage. That operative is you. I do not, in honest fact, intend to let them identify you. I am, in honest fact, here to help. I am going to be your senior instructor. I am going to keep your training under my hand. I am going to be visible enough that the pillars assume any unusual development in you is a development my hand is responsible for. I will, with you, develop a cover for your true capability that is good enough to survive an Inter-Academy autumn. Do you accept? He looked at her. He had not asked for this. He had not, in honest fact, expected it. Senior, may I ask why? She did not smile. Her mouth tilted. Because my younger sister is one of the 8 you mentioned to Bai Lingxue. How do you know I mentioned 8? I know because Bai Lingxue is a third cousin on my mother's side, and she told my mother last month at a private dinner, and my mother told me a week ago in the same precise sentence Bai Lingxue used. The third cousin chain is, in the Academy's politics, the most reliable form of intelligence. I have known the count of 8 for 1 week. I have known my sister as one of them since the day I spoke to my mother. I have, in that week, made decisions about how to be useful. I am being useful now. Hu Sanwei, do you accept? I accept, Senior. Good. We start tomorrow. 5:30. East Yard. Bring Bao. We will spar. Senior. Yes. Thank you. For my count of 8. For my count of 1. Until tomorrow. She walked off the yard. He watched her go. The chaos under his skin said, another one. Another one. Lin Wuyan agreed. This one was hardest to predict. I know. She will, in honest fact, become the most useful of all of them. Her phoenix is not what the Academy thinks it is. What is it? A regenerator. The Phoenix class mythology, here, is a renewal class. She can put pilots back together inside a battlefield. She is, by my count of cores, more valuable than Mei Xiao in the heat of combat. Combined with the small healer, the 2 of them will keep our friends alive in the worst hour we are going to face. I am pleased. So am I. He went to lunch. He thought, walking, that he was now standing on the edge of a list that had become 8. Bai Lingxue, Zhao Yuhuan, Mei Xiao, Tang Yueling, Su Wanqin, Yin Qingluo, plus the unmet, Lu Qingyi, who Chun Tianqi had named, and Wu Lian, who was in the security office, and Han Yingxue, who had not yet arrived from the western desert. Plus 1 he had not, in honest fact, expected. Chapter 16. Wu Lian in the security office. He met her on a Friday night, by accident. He had gone to the security office at 11 on a Friday because Su Wanqin had identified, in Ming Niao's archive sweep, an anomaly in the Academy's exterior surveillance feed. A small, persistent half-second delay in the rear camera ring around Spire 6, which had begun on the 1st of August and had not, since, been corrected. The delay was, in Su Wanqin's opinion, the kind of delay an operative inserted into a camera ring when they needed a small repeated window to come and go from a location near Spire 6 without being recorded. The location near Spire 6 was, by the Academy's map, the back of the chapel. The chapel had not, on the Academy's records, been visited by anyone since the spring tournament. Lin Wuyan had decided to spend a Friday night on the chapel roof and see who appeared at the brick. He had not, however, made it to the chapel. He had been intercepted on the corridor outside the security office at 11:03 by a slim figure in the matte black uniform of an Academy security trainee who had stepped out of the shadow at the corner of the corridor with a knife. A small, thin combat blade, double-edged, the kind designed for one motion, already at his throat. He did not move. She had been good. She had come up from behind a column on his blind side. She had not been on the security feed for the same half-second window Su Wanqin had identified. She had, in honest fact, used the same delay he had been investigating. He spoke, very quietly. You are not a pillar. No. Then why is your knife at my throat? Because I have been watching you for 2 months and I want to know what you are. You are the security trainee whose record I read last week. Wu Lian. Year 3. Stealth Class Mecha, A rank, Shadow Crane. Top of your tracking and surveillance program. You were on the security office shift the night of Vice Master Wu's disappearance. You logged out the corridor camera feed 2 minutes before the disappearance by your own footprint. The footprint was small. You assumed nobody would look. I looked. I have been holding the footprint quiet for 2 months because I was not sure what you were. You could have been a pillar covering Vice Master Wu's drop. You could have been a security trainee covering somebody else. I assumed the second. I was being patient. You have been less patient. Your knife is at my throat. What are you? She was silent for several seconds. Then she lowered the knife by half an inch. I am the niece of a man Vice Master Wu killed 7 years ago. Go on. My uncle was a security director at this academy. He noticed the harvest. He filed a report. The report disappeared. 2 weeks later he disappeared. The academy ruled it a private matter. My family knew it was not. I am 17. I joined the security program in my first year specifically to be in the rooms where Vice Master Wu was. I had been watching him for 3 years. On the night of the chapel, I covered the corridor feed because I had decided, on my own, that I was going to kill him. I went to the chapel at 11:15. I found the chapel empty. I found the alcove. I found 2 bodies in the alcove. I found my uncle's killer dead with a small carving knife wound under his ribs. I took the wound print. I matched it, in the security archive, to a hand tradition my uncle had once written a report about. The report named 2 academy instructors and 1 student. The student was a first year named Hu Sanwei. I have been watching you since. I have not interfered. I have, in honest fact, been silently grateful. Tonight I have decided to ask you directly. Was Vice Master Wu yours? He was. Thank you. She lowered the knife the rest of the way. She put it away inside her sleeve. She looked at him in the dim corridor light. She had a small, thin, pale face, dark eyes, black hair cropped to the jaw. She was the kind of girl the academy assumed was forgettable. She was, in honest fact, the most dangerous trainee in her year. Hu Sanwei. I am going to be in the security office for the next 2 years. The security office is the layer between this academy and the Iron Pillar City operatives. There are 7 pillars in the office's senior staff. I have not had a reason, until now, to act on the knowledge. I would like to act on it now. You would like to act with me. I would. I do not, in honest fact, expect you to trust me on a first meeting. I am willing to be tested. Name a test. He thought. 3 names. Junior pillars in the security office, by face only, by tomorrow morning, with their work shifts and their drop schedules. If you can deliver, you are in. If you cannot, walk away clean, and we never had this conversation. By tomorrow morning. By tomorrow morning. She bowed slightly. She turned. She was, in the next half second, not in the corridor. He watched the empty corner of the corridor for a moment. He smiled, small, in the dim light, and went back to the dormitory. The chapel would keep. The delay in the surveillance feed had, on this evening, given him something better than a brick. By 8 the next morning, Wu Lian had slipped him a sealed envelope in the canteen. The envelope contained 3 names, 3 photographs, 3 work shifts, and 3 drop schedules. The schedules were precise to the minute. The drops were 3 of the 7 pillar drops in the office's senior weekly rotation. He read them. He folded them. He burned them in his coffee cup. He sent her a small note back through Mei Xiaoxiao at lunch, in welcome. By the end of the week, she had given him the remaining 4 names. By the end of the month, 4 of the 7 were dead, in 3 separate small accidents that the Academy filed under 3 separate inconvenient labels. The remaining 3 had, on Wu Lian's quiet observation, begun to suspect they were being hunted and had stopped going to the chapel. The drops moved to a new location. Wu Lian found the new location within a week. The drops moved again. She found that one too. The senior pillars in the office, in their internal communications, began to refer to the Academy as the failed station and to recommend a withdrawal of all city-level pillar operations to a different campus. By the start of the autumn term, the academy had, by a clean, ruthless count, lost 11 iron pillars to the small, focused work of a girl in a security trainee's uniform and a boy in a remedial cabbage. The senior pillar council, in the city, had not yet connected the two. They were, instead, busy with what they thought was an internal failure of the failed station, and were withdrawing manpower from the campus to repurpose for safer work. This was the point. The point was to clear the Academy of Pillars without the senior council recognizing that the clearance was a single operation by a single person. The point was to make the council believe their losses were random. The senior council, for the moment, believed. The autumn term began on the 1st of September. Chapter 17, Lu Qingyi arrives. The Imperial Academy's exchange contingent arrived on the 2nd of September in a convoy of black skytrams under an imperial flag. They were 160 students, 3 instructors, and 1 crown princess of the Eastern Imperial House. Lu Qingyi was 16 years old. She was the youngest daughter of the emperor. She was the holder of the Imperial Line's hereditary SS rank mecha, Tianlong, the Azure Dragon, which had been bonded to the imperial family for 9 generations and which would, on her father's death, pass to her if her older brother had not yet awakened a more compatible match. Her brother, by the Academy's quiet awareness, had not yet. Lu Qingyi was therefore the Imperial Line's likely successor. She had been told, by her own court tutors, that the autumn exchange at Tianlong Academy was a courtesy visit and that her primary obligation was to be polite, to be visible, and to refrain from any spar engagement that would put her body or her mecha at risk. She had decided, on the flight in, to ignore the third instruction. She walked off the lead skytram on the 2nd of September in a black and gold imperial uniform with the small Azure Dragon pendant at her collar, looked once across the assembled welcoming line of faculty and senior pilots, and registered, in a single half-second, an EX rank first year standing at the far end of the line in a uniform that did not, on the Imperial Intelligence Service's brief, match his published rank. She did not, however, walk to him first. She walked to the headmaster, bowed, accepted the formal welcome, exchanged the formal pleasantries, and then walked the welcoming line with the slow, patient dignity of a princess who had been raised to walk welcoming lines since the age of 3. When she reached Lin Wuyan, she stopped. She was small. She was a head shorter than him. She had eyes the color of dark jade. Hu Sanwei, Your Highness, there is a small package in my luggage with your name on the bottom. The package was sent to me, 10 days ago, by a man calling himself the author. He asked me, in a letter, to deliver it to you on my arrival. The package contains a small carved jade dragon and a sealed letter. I do not know what the letter says. I have, in honest fact, been curious. I have not opened it. I respect a sealed letter. I will deliver the package this evening. May I, while I am here, also accept your spar challenge? Lin Wuyan, in his remedial uniform, with Bao in the back hanger and Hundun under his skin, looked at the princess of the Eastern Imperial House and thought, very privately, Chun Tianqi, you absolute show-off. Your Highness, with respect, I am the lowest ranked first year in this academy. I am the academy's Yex Cabbage. I am, by every public measure, the least worthy spar partner you could have asked for in this country. Are you sure? I am sure. The author's letter, in my luggage, included a sentence I have been turning in my head for 10 days. The sentence read, if you spar him at his lowest pretense, he will give you a courteous beating. If you ask him for his honest pace, he will give you the first honest spar of your life. I recommend the second. I have decided to take the recommendation. Will you spar me at your honest pace, Hu Sanwei? He looked at her. He looked at the small smile at the corner of her mouth. He understood, in a small detached way, that Chun Tianqi had, with the casual generosity of a retired novelist on a Friday night, just handed him the crown princess of the imperial line with a typewritten cover letter and a jade dragon. He bowed. Your Highness, I accept. Sundown. East Yard. Bao versus Tianlong. We will both go honest. Sundown, Hu Sanwei. She walked on down the welcoming line. Bai Ling Shiwe, 3 places down, looked at him with one eyebrow lifted by a millimeter. Zhao Yuhuan, 2 places down, mouthed at him with delight. Cabbage. Yin Qingluo, in the senior instructor's row, did not change her expression. Master Yin, in the faculty row, drank his tea and did not look at anyone. In Lin Wuyan's chest, the chaos rumbled with the warm satisfaction of a thing that had not, in honest fact, been allowed to play with a dragon in 800 years. Sundown, Hundun said, quietly excited. Chapter 18, Bao versus Tianlong. The East Yard at sundown. 300 students lined the gallery. The full imperial contingent. The full faculty. The full senior cohort. Chun Tianqi, leaning on the wall of the gallery at the back row with the lazy half-smile of a man who had just successfully delivered a princess to a friend, drinking from a paper cup of canteen tea. Bao stood at the center of the yard. Lumpy. Small. 3 meters. Cabbage. Across the yard, Tianlong manifested. Tianlong was 12 meters tall. Its body was the body of a serpentine humanoid, scaled in azure plates that flowed like water down its limbs. Its head bore a single horn. Its hands, when relaxed, were 5-fingered. When readied, they extended into clawed digits half a meter long. Its core, in the chest, was an azure crystal that lit the yard like a moon. The imperial students applauded. The applause was small and proper. The Tianlong students did not applaud. They were watching the cabbage. Lu Qingyi, in the cockpit at the heart of Tianlong, bowed by inclining the mecha's head. Bao bowed back. Master Yin, on the rail, raised one hand. Begin. Tianlong moved. Tianlong moved in the way an SS-rank dragon moved. 1 step, 3 meters. 2 steps, 6 meters. The 3rd step would have closed the distance entirely. The 3rd step did not land. Bao stepped sideways. Sidesteps, in mecha sparring, were rare in first-year curriculum. The mass and inertia of a mecha frame normally punished the sidestep. Bao, however, was 3 meters tall and built on the chaos's geometry, which obeyed mass when convenient and ignored it when not. Bao sidestepped at Tianlong's 3rd step the way a small, fast handfighter sidesteps a heavy, committed lunge. Tianlong's claws passed through the air where Bao had been. Bao stepped inside Tianlong's lead leg. Bao reached up with its small, lumpy cabbage hands. Bao took Tianlong's lead leg knee in both hands. Bao pulled. Tianlong, the SS-rank Azure Dragon of the Imperial line, the mecha of 9 generations of Imperial heirs, lost its footing and went down on its lead knee in the dirt of the East Yard. The gallery inhaled in a single shared breath. Lu Qingyi, in the cockpit, did not panic. She corrected. The Tianlong's tail came around, the way a dragon's tail came around when its lead knee was compromised, in a long sweeping low strike intended to take Bao at the ankle. Bao jumped the tail. Bao landed on the tail. Bao walked up the tail like a man walking up a fallen log. Bao reached Tianlong's shoulder. Bao, in the small, precise voice of a sparring junior who had been polite his whole life, said, on the open channel, "Incapacitation, Your Highness." Bao's small cabbage hand rested on the back of Tianlong's neck plate at the cockpit extraction joint. If Bao chose to, in this sparring exchange, it could open the joint and end the match. Bao did not choose to. Bao waited. Lu Qingyi, in the cockpit, sat very still for the count of 3. She laughed. It was a high, clean laugh, a laugh that the gallery had not, in honest fact, heard from a crown princess of the imperial line in living memory. It was the laugh of a girl who had been polite her whole life and had just been beaten on the 3rd step of a spar by a cabbage. She opened the cockpit. She stood up in the cockpit. She raised one hand. She waved at the gallery. She bowed, formally, in the small old court bow of a defeated daughter of the imperial house to a victor. Hu Sanwei. The spar is yours. Your Highness, the spar was extremely close. The spar was not extremely close. The spar was a sparring on 3 steps. You closed it on the 3rd step. I have, in the Imperial Guards training, spent 4 years drilling against 12-meter sparring partners. None of them ever closed it on the 3rd step. You, Hu Sanwei, your mecha is not what the Academy says it is. My mecha is what I make it, Your Highness. That is also true. I will accept that answer for now. Hu Sanwei, after dinner. My quarters. I will have the package and the sealed letter. We will discuss further. Your Highness. She climbed down from Tianlong. She walked across the yard. She bowed to him. He bowed back. The gallery applauded. The Imperial students out of duty, the Tianlong students out of pleasure. Chun Tianchi at the back of the gallery toasted Lin Wuyan with the paper cup and walked away whistling. After dinner, Lu Qingyi gave him the package. He opened it. The jade dragon was old and small and warm and very fine. The letter was a single page in Chun Tianchi's hand. The letter said, Lin, Qingyi is a good one. She is patient, she is funny in private, and she has been raised by an emperor who has not, in honest fact, loved her enough. She will love properly if she finds someone who treats her like a person. Treat her like a person. Also, her brother, the heir presumptive, is a pillar. The Imperial Intelligence Service does not know this. She does not know this. You may, in your own time, tell her. I would recommend telling her after she has fallen for you. The order matters for her psychology. See. Lin Wuyan folded the letter. He put it inside his coat. He looked at Lu Qingyi, who was watching him politely from her tea. He decided, on a quiet calibration, that he was going to tell her about her brother now, because she deserved the honesty, and because he was not going to manipulate a princess of the imperial line into love by withholding a piece of intelligence she had a right to. He told her. She listened in silence for the full 10 minutes it took him to explain. She did not weep. She did not argue. She did not, when he was done, accuse him of fabrication. She set her tea down. She looked out the window of her quarters at the Academy's lake under the moon. Show me the proof. He showed her. He had Wu Lian's logs. He had Su Wanxin's archive cross-reference. He had Master Yan's quiet confirmation, written in Master Yan's own hand last week, when Lin Wuyan had asked him whether the imperial heir presumptive had ever, in his preparatory school years, been observed at a known pillar drop site. Master Yan had been a junior instructor at the Imperial Preparatory School for 2 years in his 30s. He had observed. He had reported. He had been ignored. He had remembered. Lu Qingyi read the documents. She read them carefully. She set them down at the end. She closed her eyes. I have, since I was 9, been raised under my older brother's hand. He is the kindest person I know. He taught me to read. He taught me to ride. He gave me the jade dragon I have just given to you. Your Highness, I am not, in honest fact, going to be able to absorb this in one evening. I will need time. I will need to verify on my own. Will you let me? Of course. Will you, in the meantime, not act on this information? I will not act on it until you have come to your own conclusion. Thank you. She was silent for several minutes. She said, finally, very quietly, Hu Sanwei, if I conclude that what you have shown me is true. Yes, Your Highness. Will you stand with me when I act? I will. Will you act for me, if I cannot bring myself to do it? He looked at her. Yes. She looked at him for a long moment. She did not weep then either. She nodded slowly. She rose. She bowed to him. A deeper bow than the protocol called for between a crown princess and a foreign academy student. Sundown tomorrow, Hu Sanwei. We will spar again. Not to win. To talk. Sundown. He left her quarters. In the corridor outside, in the dim, he stood for a moment with the jade dragon in his coat pocket and Chun Tianchi's letter inside his coat, and Lu Qingyi's small steady weight pressing on his ribs from the inside in a way he had not, in honest fact, expected. He went back to the dormitory. He thought, walking, that he was going to have to kill, In the course of 3 years, every iron pillar in this country, including the heir presumptive of the Eastern Imperial House. He thought, also, that he was not, in honest fact, opposed to the idea. The chaos under his skin, very quietly, rumbled. Good, it said. Chapter 19, The Western Desert. Han Yingxue arrived in the second week of the autumn term. She came on a transport from the Western Desert Academy with the Desert Academy's exchange contingent, 50 students in sand-colored uniforms, 2 instructors, 1 transport mechanic. She was 17, tall, sun-dark, with hair the color of wet sand cut at the chin and a small private smile that the Desert Academy's Psychivals had, 2 years running, listed as interior, do not interpret. Her mecha was an A rank called Hecades Hound, the only known mecha in the country built on a Western mythology base rather than the regional pantheon. 3-headed wolf frame, 6 meters, oil black, with a triple core array in the chest that allowed it to fight 3 engagements simultaneously. The Desert Academy had bought the design from a foreign instructor 20 years ago. She walked off her transport, looked across the welcoming line, and walked directly to Lin Wuyan. She did not bow. She held out her hand for him to shake. Han Yingxue, I have heard about your cabbage. You have heard about my cabbage. Western Desert Intelligence Ring. We hear things. Hu Sanwei, I am here for 1 semester. I would like, while I am here, to learn from you. I do not, in honest fact, care about the Academy's curriculum. I will sit in the classes. I will not perform in them. I will, in the evenings, train with you if you will permit it. I am asking up front because I do not want to spend 2 weeks dancing around it. Yes or no? He looked at her. She had a calm, direct gaze and the small private smile that the Psychivals had not been able to interpret. He understood, very quickly, that the Psychivals had not been able to interpret it because she did not give the evaluators enough to interpret. She had been trained not to. By whom, he did not yet know. What was your name before you came to the Desert Academy? She paused. She had not, in honest fact, expected the question. Han Yingxue. I have been Han Yingxue since I was 9. Before 9, I was a different name. I will not tell you that name. It is a name a pillar would recognize. I am not, in honest fact, a pillar. I am the daughter of a pillar I killed when I was 9, with the help of a desert instructor who took me in after. The desert instructor is dead. I have, since 14, been hunting the pillars who killed her. I have, by my own count, ended 4. I have, by my own count, 23 left in the country, by the names I know. I came here because I heard, through the Desert Intelligence Ring, that someone at Tianlong is doing the same work I am doing, in a more organized way, and I would like to be useful to him. Yes or no, Hu Sanwei? He looked at her. He thought, with the small private fondness of a man who had just been handed a useful gift by an entire foreign academy without asking, Chun Tianqi, did you arrange this one too? He had not. Han Yingxue was, in honest fact, her own. Chun Tianqi had not written her into the original novel until Book 3. Yes, Lin Wuyan said. Welcome. She shook his hand. She walked on down the welcoming line. Bai Lingxue, 3 places down, said, very quietly, without looking at him, 8. He laughed once. He had, by his honest accounting, by sundown of the second week of the autumn term. Bai Lingxue, S. Glacial Maiden. Zhao Yuhuan, A. Legong's Hammer. Mei Xiaoxiao, S. Phoenix Tear. Tang Yueling, S. Chang'us Bao. Su Wanxin, rated A, in honest fact SSS, Ming Niao. Yin Qingluo, SS, Bifang. Lu Qingyi, SS, Qinglong. Wu Lian, A. Shadow Crane. Han Yingxue, A. Hecades Hound. 9. He thought, with a small honest tiredness, that he had not, in honest fact, asked for any of this. He thought, also, that he had not refused any of it, and that this was its own kind of consent. He thought, finally, that he was going to be patient with each of them, and slow and honest, The way he had decided to be back in the bathhouse the night Qin Tianqi had given him their names. He went to evening drills. Part 4, The Hunt. Chapter 20, The First Vault. He took the first vault in the third week of the autumn term, on a Wednesday night, with Wu Liyan as the scout, Su Wanxin as the cyber handler, Bai Lingxue as the secondary mecha, and Hundun as himself. The vault was the smaller of the three the senior council ran in the city. It held 9 cores in deep storage. It was located beneath a small private gallery on the south side of the river. The gallery was owned, on paper, by a charity foundation chaired by Madame Lu's late husband. The husband had been a low-tier pillar himself, dead 7 years, of natural causes the senior council had arranged. The foundation had passed to the senior council on his death. The foundation shared 3 city galleries. 2 were art. 1 was the vault. Wu Liyan walked Lin Wuyan through the security profile in a 3-hour session in Su Wanxin's library nook the Sunday before. The profile had 4 layers, an exterior camera ring, handled by Wu Liyan's quiet substitution of feed loops, an interior corridor of pressure plates and motion detectors, handled by Su Wanxin's pre-mapped insertion of a small permission token into the gallery's smart fabric, which would, for 45 seconds at 12:20, hold all plates and detectors in calibration mode. A primary vault door of layered titanium and rune-locked steel, handled by Hundun, who would, in honest fact, eat. The door, and an interior on-site guard of 4 senior pillars, handled by Lin Wuyan. The 4 senior pillars in the vault were Tan Yuzhua, 52, head of the vault for 9 years, a rank in his civilian days. Gu Hanming, 48, second in command, B rank. Rin Shi, 41, technical lead, B rank. Pei Wui, 36, on rotation from the Eastern Station, B rank. He had decided not to take prisoners. He had decided this because the first vault was a test. The senior council, in the city, did not yet know the vault was under threat. The cleanest move was to remove the vault from the senior council's holdings entirely in a single night, in a way that the council would, on first inspection, attribute to internal pillar treachery and not to an external operative. The cleanest way to do that was to leave no witnesses. He told Bai Lingxue this in advance. She looked at him for a long moment. No prisoners, she said. None. The cleaner the night, the safer the next vault. If we leave anyone alive, the next vault hardens. If we leave no one alive, the next vault tightens normally on the same internal threat hypothesis they will form, and we hit it next month with the same plan. The math is brutal. The math is correct. The math is correct. Are you with me, Lingxue? I am with you. Will you be the one to take Tan Yuzhua? He is the only one whose mecha frame is in the vault with him. The others have not manifested. Tan Yuzhua's frame is Iron Magistrate, a rank, full plate in mace. He will manifest at the breach. Hundun and I will take the breach. You will take Tan Yuzhua while we hold the perimeter. I will take him. Thank you. The Wednesday night. Wu Liyan inserted the substitution feed at 11:40. The gallery's exterior camera ring went on a 15-minute pre-recorded loop with the local mist patterns calibrated to match the live evening. Su Wanxin's permission token entered the gallery's smart fabric at 12:19 and 45 seconds. At 12:20 exactly, the plates and detectors in the corridor went into calibration mode. Bai Lingxue and Lin Wuyan came in through the southern utility entrance. Glacial Maiden manifested in the corridor at quarter scale, the way Bai Lingxue had been practicing for the past 3 weeks under Yin Xingluo's quiet instruction. Yin Xingluo had been, on Lin Wuyan's request, teaching Bai Lingxue the mecha compression technique that the senior cohort used for indoor work. Hundun came out of Lin Wuyan at full scale outside the vault door. Hundun ate the door. The door did not crumble. It did not break. It was, between one breath and the next, gone. The chaos absorbed it. The 8 inches of layered titanium and rune-locked steel passed into Hundun's chest core. Hundun's white eye brightened a single increment. Tan Yuzhua manifested Iron Magistrate the moment the door opened. He had time for that. He did not have time for anything else. Glacial Maiden, at quarter scale, came through the door first. The ice blade on her back, scaled down to match her frame, was the length of Lin Wuyan's forearm. Bai Lingxue, in the cockpit, did not throw it. She fought close. She had been trained on the close form for 2 years at her family's private dojo. She closed Tan Yuzhua's distance in 1 step. She slipped his first mace swing. She put the ice blade through his cockpit at the joint where the cockpit met the chest core. The blade froze the joint. The mecha locked. Tan Yuzhua, inside, was alive for the count of 3. Bai Lingxue, in her cockpit, said nothing on the channel. She simply waited. At the count of 3, the cockpit's life support failed under the ice. Tan Yuzhua died. The 3 remaining pillars in the vault had not yet manifested. They were running for the corridor. Hundun came through the door. Hundun took them in the corridor. Gohanming raised his sidearm. Hundun absorbed the bullet. Hundun took Gohanming by the head and broke his neck. Hundun set him on the floor with the casual care of a man setting a tool down. Rinshi turned to run. Hundun's lower right arm extended. The arm took Rinshi at the base of the spine. Rinshi went down. Pei Wui raised both hands. He had time to say 1 syllable. Hundun did not give him a second one. 3 pillars dead in 11 seconds. The vault was theirs. Lin Wuyan opened the cockpit of Hundun. He climbed down. He walked into the inner chamber. 9 cores in 9 ceramic cradles, each labeled with the name of the harvested student and the date. He read the names. He did not recognize most of them. The harvests went back decades. He recognized 2 students from the Academy's previous decade whose deaths he had read about in the Academy's archive last month. On a Sunday morning, while Su Wanxin had been reading beside him, he took the cores. He did not absorb them into Hundun. He took them into a small lined satchel he had brought. The cores were, by the Academy's old laws, the property of the families they had been stolen from. Each had a name. Each had, somewhere, a family. He would, with Su Wanxin's help, identify each family. He would return what could be returned. Some of the cores were dormant. They could be rebonded, by the right ritual, to a sibling or close blood relative. Some were not. Those he would, with the family's consent, lay to rest in the ground of the Academy's old chapel garden, with their names. He had a list. He was, in honest fact, making progress. He left the inner chamber. He set the ignition charges. The charges were small and clean. They were timed for 2:15 in the morning, which would coincide with the gallery's scheduled fire suppression test, which Su Wanxin had inserted into the gallery's smart fabric 2 weeks ago for exactly this reason. At 2:15, the suppression test would fail to test. The ignition charges would burn the inner chamber, and the gallery's fire would be ruled an electrical failure in the suppression system. The senior council, on inspection of the wreckage, would find no cores, no bodies. Lin Wuyan had set the charges in the ceiling, which would collapse on the bodies and burn them with the rest, and no clear sign of breach. They would conclude, on internal threat hypothesis, that one of the 4 senior pillars in the vault had defected, removed the cores, and ignited the vault to cover his trail. They would spend 3 months hunting one of their own. While they were hunting, they would not be hunting the Academy. Lin Wuyan, Bai Lingxue, Wu Lian, and Su Wanxin walked out of the gallery at 12:28, in civilian coats, with 1 small lined satchel. They reached the dormitory by 1:45. The fire alarm at the south side gallery did not ring until 2:20. Lin Wuyan slept 8 hours. In the morning, he gave the list of 9 names to Su Wanxin. By the end of the week, she had identified surviving family for 7 of the 9. The remaining 2 had no known relatives. The cores would be laid to rest. Yan Xingluo, on his request, made the formal arrangements with the Academy's old chapel garden, where 2 other unrecovered cores were already at rest. Bai Lingxue, when he passed her in the corridor on Friday, did not say anything. She walked beside him for the length of the corridor. At the corner, she turned to him. The ice blade through the joint. Yes. I slept. Good. The next one. I will not let it be on you. You took the first one because you wanted to take it. The next one is mine. I will be with you for the next. I know. She walked on. He went to first period. Chapter 21. The second and third vaults. The second vault fell in late October. It was bigger. It held 26 cores, 8 senior pillars, and a sealed inner sanctum where the council kept its founder's original ritual implements. Lin Wuyan took it on a Saturday before dawn. Han Xue and Wu Lian ran the perimeter. Tang Yueling sat on the roof of a tenement 5 blocks east with Chang'us Bao's long-range scope live, ready to remove anyone who broke containment. Su Wanxin held the city's smart fabric in a clenched fist for 19 minutes from the dormitory. Hundun ate the inner sanctum. The 8 senior pillars manifested mechas. 6 were A rank. 2 were S rank. Hundun took the 2 S ranks first because they were the threats, a crane frame called Heaven's Auditor with 3 projectile arms, and a bear frame called Stone Witness with a 40-ton hammer. Lin Wuyan put Heaven's Auditor through a wall with one of Hundun's lower arms and crushed Stone Witness's core with the other before Stone Witness completed its first swing. 2 seconds. The 6 A ranks died inside the next 12. He interrogated the last one before he died. Han Xue stood beside him in her 3-headed wolf frame. She did the interrogation. Han Xue's specialty, it turned out, was extraction by pain. She had been raised, between 9 and 14, by a desert instructor who had served 2 terms in the Imperial Inquisition before her resignation. The instructor had taught Han Xue everything she knew. Han Xue had been very interested. Hecate's hound had 3 heads. Each head had a different tongue. The first head asked questions in the standard dialect. The second head asked the same questions in a frequency that bypassed the conscious mind and went to the limbic system. The third head did not ask questions. The third head opened the prisoner's pain receptors and held them open. The senior pillar in the inner sanctum lasted 4 minutes. He gave them the address of the third vault, the names of the 11 senior council members in the city, the address of the council's quarterly meeting site, and the schedule for the next meeting, 6 weeks out, in a private residence on the Imperial Mountain, attended by all 11, plus the Imperial heir presumptive Lu Qingyu, Lu Qingyi's older brother, plus 3 foreign senior pillars from the Western Desert and the Southern Lake Academies. He told them, also, the council's contingency plan. If a third vault fell, the council would conclude that the campaign was external and would call a full mobilization of all surviving pillars in the country for a single retaliatory strike on the academy. The strike would not be subtle. The strike would, by the contingency plan, level Tianlong from the ground up. They were on the threshold of a third vault. Han Xue, in Hecate's hound, looked at Lin Wuyan and Hundun. Do we take it? He thought for a count of 3. Yes. We take it on the same night we take the council meeting. One night. We give them no time to mobilize. We hit the council in the mountain residence, hit the third vault simultaneously, and every named pillar in one engagement. 6 weeks to prepare. Han Xue. Yes. You will lead the vault team. Wu Lian, Tang Yueling, Su Wanxin. I trust you with that team. I will be on the mountain with Bai Ling Xue, Yanqing Luo, Lu Qingyi, and Zhao Yuan. Mei Xiaoxiao at the academy holding the medical line. Chen Tianxi at the academy holding the perimeter. That is the split. Will you accept the vault team? Yes. Do not take prisoners. I will not. He ended the prisoner. He left no body. The vault burned at 4:30. The city ruled at a charity foundation electrical fault for the second time in 3 months. The internal threat hypothesis at the council level intensified. The council called for a quarterly meeting at the mountain residence 3 weeks earlier than scheduled. Lu Qingyu, the heir presumptive of the Eastern Imperial House, attended. He brought his personal SS rank Mecha Azure Sovereign, a brother frame of his sister Lu Qingyi's Tianlong, slightly larger, with 12 azure horns instead of 1. He brought Also, his personal guard of 14 Imperial elite pilots, 6 of them S rank. He did not know that his sister had spent the past 6 weeks verifying, on her own quiet authority, every piece of evidence Lin Wuyan had given her. He did not know that she had, at the end of those 6 weeks, decided. He did not know that she had told her own personal guard that she would be visiting an old preparatory school friend on the night of the council meeting, and that her guard's records would, for that night, show her at the friend's house in the southern city. Lu Qingyi was on the mountain. She was on the mountain with Tianlong manifested at full SS rank scale, standing on the ridge 2 kilometers from the residence with the safety locks of her dragon frame's primary cannons disengaged, and a face that was, in Lin Wuyan's quiet assessment, the calmest he had ever seen it. She had taken 6 weeks. She had made her choice. Chapter 22. The Mountain. The mountain residence sat in a hollow between 3 peaks, north of the city. It was a black tile compound, 9 buildings around a central courtyard, with an ornamental pond at the courtyard's heart. The residence had served the senior council as a quarterly meeting site for 30 years. The council did not, ordinarily, manifest mechas at the residence. The residence was a civilian site, by their internal protocols, a place for conversation, not combat. Pilots brought their bodies, not their frames. Bodyguards held mechas and standby outside the perimeter, 2 kilometers downslope. The council expected, at most, a strike against the residents to come from outside the perimeter, where the bodyguards' mechas could intercept. 11 senior pillars in a courtyard with no manifested mechas around them was the council's vulnerability, but it was a vulnerability the council had decided was acceptable because the strike path was, by every model, too long for an attacker to reach the courtyard before the bodyguards intercepted. Hundun did not strike from outside the perimeter. Hundun struck from above. He came down on the courtyard from 1,200 meters of altitude, in free fall, with the chaos suppressed inside bow's small dim form for the descent, small enough to read on the Imperial radar as a piece of debris from the high atmosphere, and dropped onto the central courtyard's roof tile at 4 minutes past 10 in the evening. In the exact second the council's meeting had reached its midpoint recess, and all 11 members were standing at the pond's edge taking tea. Bow opened. Hundun manifested at full scale. Hundun's lower right arm came down on the first senior pillar, an old woman in a pale gold robe, the matriarch of the council's southern wing. The arm killed her in one motion. The body did not, by chaos's mercy, retain shape. The chaos absorbed her into itself in the same motion that ended her. Hundun's lower left arm took the second pillar, a thin man in dark green, by the chest. The chest came apart. Hundun's upper right arm extended into the long-edged shape and cut through 3 pillars at the throat in a single horizontal slash. 5 dead in 3 seconds. The remaining 6 manifested. They manifested in panic, in the courtyard, against the council's own protocols. They manifested inside the courtyard, which the residence was not, by its construction, designed to contain. The building's walls did not hold. Tile and beam and stone collapsed in 3 directions. The pond burst its bank. The residence began to come apart around the council. Hundun did not pause. Hundun took the 6th at the head. Hundun took the 7th at the spine. The 8th tried to flee. Hundun extended a lower limb across 30 meters and pinned him by the ankle. Hundun pulled him back. Hundun did not crush him. Hundun absorbed him. The 9th had reached his mecha, a 6-meter S-rank tiger called Cinder Magistrate. He came at Hundun with both blades drawn. Hundun let him swing once. The blade did not bite. Hundun took the blade, took the arm, took the mecha, then the cockpit. The 10th tried to escape upward, in a falcon frame S-rank with vertical lift. Lu Qingyi's Tianlong, on the ridge, fired. The azure beam took the falcon at 300 meters of altitude. The falcon came down in pieces. The 11th. The council's chair, an old man named Wen Tianqi, no relation, the master architect of 40 years of harvest, manifested in SSS rank. The SSS rank was Sky Above Sky, a 15-meter humanoid in black and gold plate with two long curved swords. The Academy's lore office had been chasing rumors of Sky Above Sky for 2 decades. The lore office had concluded the rumors were apocryphal. The lore office had been wrong. Sky Above Sky came at Hundun across the broken courtyard with both blades drawn in the classical opening of a southern court dueling form. Hundun met him. The exchange that followed lasted 40 seconds. 40 seconds is a long time in mecha combat. 40 seconds is also a long time for the chaos under Lin Wuyan's skin to drink. Sky Above Sky was, by the official rank system, the highest mecha in the country. Hundun was, by the same system, an EX cabbage. They closed on the courtyard's broken tile. The blades sang. Sparks. Hundun took the first cut on the lower right arm. The arm absorbed the cut. The cut stayed in Hundun. The second cut came at Hundun's chest core. Hundun's upper left arm caught the blade. The blade froze. Hundun pulled. The arm followed the blade. The mecha followed the arm. When Tianxi, in the cockpit, opened the second blade in a back cut, Hundun took the back cut on his face. Hundun did not have a face. The cut, hitting where a face would have been, was absorbed into the no face of the chaos. The blade was, between one heartbeat and the next, inside Hundun. The pilot, holding the hilt of the blade, was pulled forward by the absorption. Hundun took Wen Tianxi at the cockpit. Lin Wuyan, in Hundun's chest, opened the channel one last time. Wen Tianxi, who are you? I am the boy you wrote a death warrant for 40 years ago. Not me personally. 63 of me. I am the 64th. I am, on the records, the EX cabbage who broke an awakening crystal at the spring intake. You did not, in honest fact, register the breach because the breach was filed at the lowest priority. I am the consequence of a clerical error at your level. Your career will be remembered by the Academy's archive as the career of a man who built a 40-year operation that was unmade by his own filing department. Goodbye, Wen Tianxi. He crushed Sky Above Sky's cockpit. When Tianxi died, the chaos absorbed Sky Above Sky. The mecha's core, the largest core Hundun had ever taken, went into Hundun's chest. The white eye in Hundun's chest brightened by 4 full increments. Hundun grew, for a moment, by 2 meters in height. Then it settled. The courtyard was silent. Lu Qingyi's Tianlong came down off the ridge. She landed beside Hundun on the broken tile. She had not, in the engagement, killed her brother. Her brother, the heir presumptive, was 3 minutes behind, with his personal guard, climbing the upper switchback in Azure Sovereign. He had not been at the residence. He had been at the Mid-Mountain Way station with his guard, on the council's protocol that the heir presumptive did not, by imperial law, meet the council in person at quarterly meetings. He had been waiting to be summoned for the second half of the meeting. He had heard the courtyard collapse on his open channel. He had ordered his guard up the mountain at full speed. His guard was 16 mechas, 6 S ranks, and 10 A ranks. Azure Sovereign was an SS, plus Lu Qingyu personally, who was, by the Imperial Guard's quiet count, the best dragon pilot in the country. Lin Wuyan opened Hundun's open channel. He spoke to Lu Qingyi. Your brother. Mine. You are sure? Yes. Yin Qingluo. The second Phoenix-class senior, Yin Qingluo, manifested Bifong on the ridge above the courtyard. Bifong was a 6-meter humanoid in pale silver and red, with 2 long curved tail blades that could detach and act as drones. She came down to the courtyard level in 3 strides. The guard. Yours. I cannot take 6S ranks alone. You will not. Bai Lingxue. Zhao Yuhuan. Glacial Maiden. Legong's hammer came down the upper trail behind the courtyard at full scale. 4 of us against 16. 5 of us, with Lu Qingyi's Tianlong on her brother. 5 against 16. Plus me, when I am done with the courtyard. You are done with the courtyard. I am done with the courtyard. Hundun turned toward the upper switchback. Lu Qingyi, in Tianlong, said only, Do not kill him slowly. He was my brother. I will not. Quick. Thank you. The first S rank of the Imperial Guard came up the switchback at speed. Bai Lingshue's glacial maiden met him head-on. The ice blade came across his cinder frame at the throat. The frame collapsed inward. Bai Lingxue took the core in one motion and added it to Glacial Maiden's storage chamber for later disposal. The pilot died inside the freezing cockpit. The second and third S ranks came up the switchback together. Zhao Yuhuan met them with both fists of Lei Gong's hammer. Lightning crackled. The hammer came around. The first S rank's head came off in a single horizontal swing. The second S rank was hit by the recoil of the hammer's return swing and was put through the cliff face on the right side of the switchback. The rock broke. The mecha and pilot disappeared into the broken rock. They did not come out. The fourth, fifth, and sixth S ranks came up in formation. Yan Qingluo's Bifang released its tail blades. The blades, as drones, went around the formation in a flanking arc. Two of the three S ranks lost their primary weapon arms in the same second. The third turned to face Bifang. Bifang's main body, freed of the tail blades for close work, drew its short paired phoenix blades and stepped into the third S rank in the classical Bifang form. Two cuts. The S rank fell. Behind the S ranks, the 10A ranks were coming up. Hundun met them on the switchback at the middle bend. Hundun did not take the A ranks one at a time. Hundun extended 4 arms across the switchback for separate engagements in the same second. The 10A ranks were dead in 12 seconds. The chaos absorbed 8 of the 10 cores. The other 2 were too damaged. Azure Sovereign came up last. Lu Qingyu was alone. He stood at the top of the switchback in his 12-horned dragon frame, with the surviving members of his guard on the ground behind him, and he looked across the bend at his sisters Tianlong with the small, precise calm of an imperial heir who had, 10 seconds ago, recognized that the situation had been arranged. Qingyi, brother, did you do this? I helped. How long have you known? 6 weeks. Who told you? The Yex Cabbage. He is on this mountain. He is, in honest fact, behind me. I would like to ask you, before he kills you, to confess. Confess what? Everything. To me. Not to a court. To me. I want to hear you say it. I want, when you die, to know that you said it. I will not be at peace if you die in denial. A long silence. The wind on the mountain. Lu Qingyu closed his eyes inside Azure Sovereign. He spoke. He spoke for 6 minutes. He told her every harvest he had personally signed off on. He told her every senior pillar he had recommended to the council. He told her the name of the Imperial Guard captain who had been a pillar and who had, on his order, arranged the death of their mother 9 years ago, which Lu Qingyi had been told was a natural illness. When he was done, Azure Sovereign lowered its 12 horns. He stepped his mecha forward. He did not raise his blades. Do it, Qingyi. Do not let him do it. I will not, in my last minute, be killed by a stranger. I will be killed by my sister. The Imperial line will pass to you cleanly. The story will be that I died in battle against the Council's enemies. My honor will, by your hand, survive what I was. She wept inside Qinglong. She did it. Qinglong's primary cannon fired at 3 meters of distance. Azure Sovereign was vaporized at the chest core. The cockpit, in the milliseconds before vaporization, held Lu Qingyu's last breath and his last small private smile, the smile of an older brother who had taught his younger sister to read and to ride, and who had given her a jade dragon when she was 9. She held the cannon's beam on the cockpit for 2 seconds longer than the kill required. She let it go. Azure Sovereign's pieces fell across the upper bend of the switchback. Lu Qingyi, in Qinglong, sat very still for a long moment. Then she said, on the open channel, in a small, steady voice, Hundun, the mountain is clean. It is. The vault. Han Ningshue's team. We will hear in 20 minutes. Su Wanxin. Su Wanxin's voice came onto the channel from the dormitory, 300 kilometers away. Vault is taken. 16 cores. No survivors on the pillar side. Han Ningxue is intact. Wu Lian has a forearm break, non-critical. Tang Yueling reports a sniper engagement on the perimeter of the vault property, 3-pillar long range. She ended all 3. No collateral. Vault burns at 3:05 on the city schedule. The fire department will arrive at 3:20. The council operations layer in the city will be informed at 4. The council will not have an operations layer to receive the information after 4. Understood. Su Wanxin, bring the harem to the mountain. Tell Master Yan. We meet at the academy gate at dawn. Understood. He closed the channel. He stood Hundun on the mountain. The chaos under his skin rumbled, warm, full, satisfied. 16 new cores. The white eye in Hundun's chest was, now, almost too bright to look at directly. Hundun had outgrown EX. Hundun had outgrown SSS. Hundun was, by any honest measure, the highest mecha in the country. He let Hundun shrink. Hundun closed itself back into Bao. Bao stood on the broken switchback, lumpy and 3 meters in dim. He climbed down from Bao's cockpit. He walked across the courtyard, past Lu Qingyi standing beside her brother's wreckage, passed by Ling Xue collecting cores into her satchel, past Yin Qingluo retrieving Bifang's tail blades, past Zhao Yuhuan resetting Lei Gong's hammer's capacitors. He stopped beside Lu Qingyi. She did not look at him. He set his hand on the side of Qinglong's lower armor plate, where the cockpit was. He did not say anything. He stood beside her in the silence for the count of 3 minutes. She said, finally, "You will, in the next year, ask me to come to your academy." "I will. I will accept. I know. I will not, however, ask you to ask me to be anything else. Not yet. I know. Good. Qingyi. Yes. Thank you for the Jade Dragon. I have it in my coat. I will return it if you want me to. Keep it." "Yes." He stood beside Qinglong until she was ready to move. They walked the mountain down together. By Ling Xue, Yin Qingluo, and Zhao Yuhuan followed. Bao followed at the rear in its small, lumpy, patient walk. By dawn they were at the academy gate. Hanning Xue, Wu Lian, Tang Yueling, Su Wanxin, and Mei Xiaoxiao were already there. Chen Tianqi had held the academy through the night. In his old SSS Tianlong form, manifested for the first time in front of the school in his actual rank, ready for a retaliation that would not now come. The retaliation would not come because, by dawn, 81 senior pillars across the country had died. 3 vaults had burned, the council was a memory, and the operations layer in the city was a rumor. Master Yin met them at the gate. He had not slept. He looked at the 9 of them. He looked at Lin Wuyan. He bowed. The bow was the bow a senior master gives to a peer. It was not the bow a teacher gives to a student. He said only, "Come inside. All of you. Eat. Sleep. There will be questions in the morning. I will hold the morning. Eat." They ate. They slept. In Hu Sanwei's bunk, in the dormitory, with Wang Erlang snoring in the bunk above and Chen Tianqi in the bunk across the room reading a book by penlight, Lin Wuyan, in the dark, closed his eyes. The chaos under his skin said, "We have eaten well." "Yes," Lin Wuyan said. "Sleep now. There is one more. The Senior Council Foreign Branches. The Senior Council Foreign Branches. In 2 years. With Hanning Xue. We have time. Sleep, Lin." He slept. Epilogue, The Cabbage's Garden. 3 years later, on the morning of the Academy's graduation ceremony, the cohort of 41st years had become a cohort of 38 third years. The 2 who had not made it were both pillars. They had not, in honest fact, been killed by Lin Wuyan. They had been killed by their own organization in the Senior Council's frantic internal purge of the year between Book 1 and the start of the Foreign Branch campaign. The 2 had been removed quietly during their 2nd year. The Academy had filed them as transfers. Wang Erlang was alive. He was, at graduation, the cohort's most popular pilot, a B-rank bore with the 3rd best Inter-Academy tournament record of his year, headed for a posting on the northern frontier. Lin Wuyan had, over 3 years, spent quiet hours teaching him the basic Han tradition. Wang Erling had not asked why the EX cabbage knew it. Wang Erling had been a good student. Pei Songshan was alive. He was the cohort's top heron, headed for a sniper corps fellowship. Mo Tianhua, the bully from year 1, was alive. He had, in year 2, with a wired jaw long since healed and a shoulder that did not work the same, sought out Lin Wuyan and asked, formally, to be permitted to study under his hand. Lin Wuyan had said yes. Mo Tianhua had become, in year 3, the cohort's third-ranked pilot and one of the loyal hands at Lin Wuyan's quiet table. He had, in private, asked once whether his early promise to be quiet to the dorm had been the only condition. Lin Wuyan had said no. The condition was that you would not be the man you were going to be in chapter 210. You are not. The condition is met. Mo Tianhua had not understood the reference. He had nodded. Chen Tianxi was at graduation in his real SSS Tianlong. He was, by the Academy's spring rankings, the second-best pilot in the country. The first was a fourth-year private tutor pupil whose mecha had never been registered. That pupil was Hu Sanwei. Hu Sanwei walked across the stage at graduation in the same remedial uniform he had worn for 3 years. Master Yan handed him the diploma. Master Yan, who had become headmaster of Tianlong Academy on the year 2 appointment that had followed the senior council's collapse, was permitted, by the Academy's tradition, to say one sentence at each graduate's diploma exchange. The sentence he said to Lin Wuyan was, "Take care of the cabbage." Lin Wuyan bowed. He walked off the stage. In the courtyard outside the auditorium, his 9 were waiting. Bai Lingxue, in formal glacial maiden dress armor at quarter scale, the small ice blade at her hip. Zhao Yuhuan, in Leigong's formal robes, ozone in her hair, the small bright grin she had worn for 3 years. Mei Xiaoxiao, in the healer's formal pale gold, 2 braids, a small canister of honey tea in her hand. Tang Yueling, in archer's leather, Chang'us Bao in her right hand, the small near smile she had begun, in year 2, to allow occasionally. Su Wanxin, in scholar's gray, Mingniao's owl mask pendant at her collar, the soft brown braid down her back. Yan Qingluo, in senior master's silver, she had taken her instructor's license in year 2, the Bifong's sword at her hip. Lu Qingyi, in imperial mourning gold, she had, in year 2, succeeded her father. She was, as of 3 months ago, the Empress of the Eastern Imperial House. She had insisted on attending in her own name and not in imperial protocol, with the jade dragon pendant at her collar that Lin Wuyan had returned to her on the 2nd anniversary of the mountain. Wu Lian, in security instructor black, she had stayed on as faculty, the slim combat knife at her hip. Han Xue, in Desert Academy sand, she had transferred back at the end of year 2 to lead the foreign branch campaign from the west. She was, by quiet count, for senior foreign branch pillars closer to her own personal end of the work than she had been on the mountain, Hecate's hound at standby behind her. Plus Wang Erling, broad and beaming. Plus Pei Songshan, quiet at the back. Plus Chen Tianxi, leaning on a column with his lazy half-smile, holding a paper cup of canteen tea he had brought from the canteen specifically for this morning. Plus Master Yan, now headmaster, at the back of the courtyard with his hands behind his back. Plus Mei Xiaoxiao's tonic canister, which she handed Lin Wuyan and which he drank in one go. He looked at them all. He smiled. It was small. It was the smile he had earned across 3 years. So he said, "Tonight we eat. Tomorrow we begin the foreign branch work." Han Xue, ready. Wu Lian, ready. Su Wanxin, ready. The rest of you. The rest of them said, in a small, ragged chorus, ready. Lu Qingyi, the empress, in her mourning gold, said only, "And dinner tonight, Hu Sanwei. My quarters. There is a thing I have been postponing telling you for 3 years that I intend, tonight, to tell you." He looked at her. He smiled. Sundown. Sundown. Bai Lingxue, beside him, with the small private steadiness she had carried for 3 years, said, "The day after that, my house." My parents are insisting. Day after that, Zhao Yuhuan grinned. Day after that, my favorite ramen shop. The one with the spicy. You promised, cabbage. 3 years ago you promised. I have been waiting. Day after that, Mei Xiaoxiao laughed. I will be at the medical wing on Friday. Bring books. I will not be at the medical wing for the night shift. I will be at the medical wing for 1 hour at 5, after which we will walk to the lake. 5 at the medical wing. Tang Yueling, who did not, in honest fact, do this kind of scheduling, said quietly, Saturday morning. The archery yard. Bring tea. Tea. Su Wanxin, the scholar, said, Sunday evening. Library. Tea. Tea. Yin Qing Luo, the senior, said, Monday. East yard. Spar. Then tea. Spar then tea. Wu Lian, the security trainee now instructor, said, Tuesday, after rounds. Tea. Tea. Haning Xue, the desert hunter, said, Wednesday, at the gates. Then the west. We will take Hecate's hound. We will not need tea. We will not need tea. Haning Xue's small private smile, which the Desert Academy's psyche vowels had not been able to interpret, made an appearance. He laughed. It was, in honest fact, a quiet laugh, the laugh of a man who had been a side character on page 86 and had become the cabbage that had eaten the council. The chaos under his skin rumbled. Warm. Cabbage, it said. Garden. Garden, Lin Wuyan agreed. They walked out of the courtyard together. Behind them, in Hu Sanwei's old dormitory bunk on the 7th floor of Spire 3, the small jade dragon pendant Lu Qingyi had given Lin Wuyan on his arrival sat on the bedside drawer. The dragon was warm. The dragon had been warm for 3 years. The dragon would, if you held it in your hand and looked at it from the right angle and the right light, show the very smallest reflection of a circle on its underside. A hollow circle, with nothing inside it, the way a thing that had been before there was anything to be might choose, on its own quiet evening, to leave a mark. It was a good mark. It was a good morning. It was a good cabbage.